Welcome everybody to another new a new episode. I was gonna say adventure. That we enter the Nerdom.
Adventure? That's
another
what you're
adventure. Yeah,
an adventure with Enter the Nerdom.
Yeah,
that's what it is.
Adventure. Yeah,
that's what it is.
I'm here with my co-host
Stan Morancini,
and I'm Watson Bradshaw, and of course we have special guest today.
Sam McClellan. I was actually wondering when I was supposed to come in. I didn't want to step on any toes of people. You guys have already done this, so I don't. But I'm just a guest, so I'm just here.
No, man.
I'm here to observe, but also give my little.
You can just jump in whenever you want.
Whenever you want,
absolutely.
dude.
All right, I'm jumping in
absolutely.
right now.
There you go.
There
in the deep end.
Mm-hmm. Unfortunately, Chad Cook is not with us today. He is back east taking care of some family stuff.
Mm-hmm. It's a special assignment.
Yeah, and our thoughts are with you, Chad, and we love you.
Yeah, we love you, Chad.
So, yeah, and hurry back to us as soon as you can, please, because we miss you. So we got a lot to talk about. There's been a lot of stuff that's been released.
Yeah, it's crazy.
Since the last time we met.
It feels like there's been a plethora of things coming out in the past 2 weeks.
I mean, especially, I forget, last time you guys talked, had the strikes, the actor strike ended, or was that at the very cusp of
I believe it had already ended by that point.
Yeah,
right?
okay. Yeah. But barely, I think.
Barely, yeah.
But yeah, so we're coming out with a lot of stuff.
All the announcements are coming out. All the casting news is starting to be rolling out.
Right. They're finally beginning to promote things.
Yeah, which is interesting because usually this is a time of the year normally when the studios and everything kind of winds down.
Right.
Until after the holidays. But it feels
dropping all their stuff in January that I think is going to make it.
Yeah, but I feel like now they're just let's get everything out there as we can now, But it's good times.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, definitely. And so there's been a bunch of stuff that's dropped. I guess we should start with some of the more basic things that are out there, some of the more well-known things. Let's start with Loki. Season 2. Have you guys finished that? I haven't watched it at all. So.
I will admit, I love season 1, but I have yet to see season 2 yet. I've been hearing nothing but good things, so that makes me very happy for the TV side of Marvel. But yeah, I have not seen it.
We do a lot of spoilers on this show, by the way, Sam. So you came to the wrong place.
We
do a lot of spoilers.
Oh, no. Go right ahead. I have a very bad memory, so the good thing about that is spoil all you want.
Yeah, we'll say earmuffs if you don't.
No, go right ahead.
What'd you think of it,
you know what? I was very lukewarm on it when it first started off. The first few episodes, I was like, this is a little slow and definitely different from season 1. Where it felt like, season 1, there was a lot more, they had a mission, they had to go out and, and catch Sylvie, the Loki variant. And, it was a lot more time wibbly-wobbly stuff and going around to different time zones and different parallel timelines and stuff. And I thought that was cool. And this season's very much it felt like a big bottle episode. Everything pretty much takes place in the TVA. And I was a little disappointed. I thought oh man, this is feels like the budget was cut or something because it's not as big as in scope. But I gotta admit, they pull it off at the end, the last couple episodes. And looking back, I learned to appreciate it for what it was and how they really do a great job of pretty much ending this character, this version of Loki. I mean, the spoilery.
Yeah, I was gonna say spoiler. I mean, I don't care. Do you think it is an end to Loki, or
It feels that way. It feels like that
most
book
likely
has been closed.
Because most likely I think we are in the final talks of getting a Thor 5.
Yeah.
I don't know if Tom Hiddleston would come. Right, Tom Hiddleston.
Yeah, Hiddleston.
Yeah,
Hiddleston. Yeah. Would come back for that.
Well, the one thing, I mean, this is not the Loki that we knew from the MCU. That Loki died with Thanos snapped his neck.
Right. But it kind of is because he saw the video of his life,
yeah.
so it's and he learned all the lessons of that Loki.
True.
So it's it's
pretty much. Yeah.
Same point.
But but
I understand what you're saying as well.
But I just feel like this Loki story is over. It doesn't mean that another Loki story couldn't continue. Because we see there are variants. There are many Lokis. So we could do something like that. But it felt like the way it ended And I mean, I really, this is a big spoiler now. If you
go ahead.
Yeah, go ahead.
So he is trying to stop the different timelines are destroying, are colliding and exploding and destroying each other, right?
Mm-hmm.
And his whole this whole season has been like, I've got to try and contain this. I got to try and fix the loom that fixes time into one. Like,
does he try to become like the one that remains, like pretty much like where we leave off?
Pretty much, he realizes like, there was a reason for him to be there, and there was a reason, because none of these timelines, these branches that they call them, they can't live. Like, there's just too much of it, right? Mm-hmm. And it just they're dying out, and like he's like, millions of lives are getting killed all the time. And the only way to do that is to kind of contain this. And so he realizes there is a need for that character. And he, in the course of the series, you see him time slipping is what's happening to him, where he's kind of like getting thrust through time and stuff like that. And he starts to learn to control it and visits He Who Remains. Because he goes like, the problem was when we killed him, we started this kind of ball rolling. Mm-hmm. And so he tries to save him and can't. Like,
so it goes back in time to like save before Silky.
Right, exactly.
Okay.
This is Jonathan Majors still?
Yes.
Okay.
Yeah. So Jonathan Majors is a big part of the show.
Uh-huh.
And you couldn't really do the series without him.
Uh-huh.
And I'm curious, like, once you're done talking about season 2, let's if we can talk about that elf in the room.
And so He Who Remains he knew this was going to happen. And he knew that Sylvie was going to kill him, and that Loki would come to try and stop it. And he's like, look, this is like kind of a fixed point in time. Like, you can't, like, you're going to keep trying and trying, and you're trying to save me and Sylvie, and it's like, you're going to have to make a choice. And he's like, it's going to take, like millennia to figure out. Like, and you see Loki, because he's able to keep kind of resetting the timeline and going back and resetting, like, he lives thousands of years and learns how to control his powers more and more, and realizes what he has to do to save everyone is to sacrifice himself. And becomes, like, he's trying to fix the loom, and then realizes that's not going to fix things. And he goes out there and kind of ends up controlling these time branches. And being the end of the series is you see him in the center of all of time and space, and he's the center of the tree of the universe.
I've seen that that spoiler, at least a picture of him with his Loki horns on, him like putting his hands out, and he's just like has that stoic look on his face.
Right, he's like getting wrapped in the branches of time and everything. And that's how the show ends. And it's a beautiful ending. And he finally like realizes like his purpose. His, he through the course of his whole life, he's talked about the glorious purpose that he has, and it's not to be, it is to be a king in a way, and sit on a throne, but it's to be, kind of selflessly giving himself away to let everyone live.
He's a three-eyed raven.
To
basically
very true.
To not be seen, but to still be in control, but like. And that's a great story arc for him, because for someone who is has been very big on no, witness me, look at me, acknowledge all the things I'm doing, not only for me but for you, but then to go into I have a bigger purpose where no one can know that this is what I'm doing is a fantastic.
It's a beautiful ending for that character, and like I said, I don't think it's the end of him, as Loki could come back for a Thor, but I don't know if it'll be a variant or a different. Maybe they could bring back the one that was killed by Thanos.
It'll be a Force ghost.
Exactly. There's ways to go about it where it doesn't interfere with the show.
Interesting.
But it's, I thought it was really well done. And everyone's giving the show its flowers. Everyone's saying that it's the best thing Marvel's put out in a while. So
mean, yeah.
I have to agree.
I mean, after a while, after Secret Invasion, I'm sure, like, yeah, it's a breath of fresh air.
Yeah.
That show. Oh boy, we'll get into that when we talk about Marvels.
I haven't watched Loki season 2 yet. I probably will give it a shot now, based on your recommendation. Yeah, and you just brought it up, Marvels. We got to talk about it. It's the elephant in the room. It is projected to lose Disney about almost $200 million. If not more,
which is unfortunate. Yeah. Like, I mean, we'll get into it, but like, I saw it.
Yeah. I did too.
And Watson saw it.
I have not watched it. Okay. Like, I've said on the podcast numerous times, I'm not going to watch it. I'm not. Yeah, just because I'm just not interested in those characters. That's it. Right. No hate towards any of them.
It is really unfortunate. Like, I mean, we'll get into it, but like, because it's not as. I mean, especially. I mean, if you look at the Rotten Tomatoes, which take Rotten Tomatoes with a grain of salt.
Right. Oh yeah.
But like. It's not bad. It's not the greatest.
I don't think it was a bad movie.
No, it's not. Yeah. It was a fine movie. It's like, I mean, my gauge of movies is like, was it the worst movie or was it the best movie?
I don't think it's the worst.
There are some times where it's like, well, it's just a movie. Yeah. This was like the best movie in the sense that like it was a good movie. Like, I still had a good time.
All the Marvel movies that were released this year, this is not the worst one.
Mm-hmm. So I've heard, yeah. The budget was $274 million, about another $75 million in marketing. So you're looking at over $300 million, about $350.
Yeah.
And currently the box office stands, latest number is about $160.
It's a pricey movie.
It's going to be that's
problem.
Pretty bad.
And I honestly don't know where that money went.
So I've heard. A lot of reshoots I heard. That's what.
No reshoots. Yeah. I can only imagine like marketing because like before. I mean, once again, like the actors' strike just ended, so they had a lot of writers and the directors like kind of like
out and talk
about it. But it wasn't until like the like last couple weeks before it came out that Brie Larson and everybody could like actually come out and like, hey, like here's this.
Yeah.
And us, fans of Marvel or comic movies are going to see it regardless, more or less it regardless. But like the general public, like unfortunately, Marvel's stock in this medium, in the movie medium, has kind of like tainted people. Like they have like they irked them. Like
and the problem I think especially with Marvels is for like how they say normies, as they call it, right? People who just kind of are like more casual fans of anything.
Yeah, they want it. They want a good time. They want to like enjoy. They want most movies tickets nowadays are like what, like $18, $20 or something. Like they want their money's worth. They want to make sure they can like shut off their brains for like an hour and a half. Or
and
whatever.
Most people are not going to sit and watch Miss Marvel and then watch WandaVision, in order to catch up on this movie. A lot of people are going to be like, wait, because a lot of people went into this movie and they're like, who are these other two characters?
That's the thing, is you're like, introducing two new characters and your big star, Brie Larson, hasn't really done anything else but the Captain Marvel character in the past few years. Like, it'd been one thing if she'd come out with another movie in the past 2 years or something that kept her stock up, but I don't think she has done anything.
She's going to come out with like on Apple TV. There's something about like she's like playing some kind of like, I think it's a true story about like some woman who was a scientist or who did like kind of like a Mr. Wizard kind of like show, I think.
Okay. That's
so that's going to come out soon. I don't think it's out yet. But yeah, she's not a bad actor as well.
No, she's Brie Larson has got some acting chops for sure. I mean, I saw her in Room. She was great in that. And obviously, the first thing that I ever saw her in was Scott Pilgrim.
Oh yeah,
where she was so good in that.
Which I mean, we can talk about this later. But like Scott Pilgrim,
the cartoon.
Came out,
which is fantastic. Yeah.
And they all the original cast is pretty much back and like doing it. And like but you're absolutely right. Like she was really good in that as a a bit character more or less, but like still.
But she really she stole the scenes that she was in.
Yeah, she's really great. And there's a show called United States of Terror with Toni Collette, and she plays the daughter in that. And she's fantastic.
Wow, I remember watching that, and I cannot picture her in that. Like, okay, I can't forget about that.
That's a fun show. Toni Collette is just insane.
Yeah, Toni Collette's great.
Yeah.
So I think that I was hoping that Marvels do better than it did. It's just but I think just a lot of people are just like what you guys are saying, just kind of turned off by what's been going on with Marvel in general. I mean, Ant-Man didn't do well.
I mean, this is a
Thor: Love and Thunder was
but it's
like,
still like, I mean, but Ant-Man still like made some money. It didn't do well, and I'm an Ant-Man fan. Like, I still enjoyed that movie, but I definitely understand like it had some problems with it. I enjoyed the Marvels more than I enjoyed Ant-Man.
I agree with that. Yeah,
interesting.
I thought it was a lot of fun where I wanted to be. Like there's a lot of people having issues with the musical element.
I've heard that. I've heard a lot of hate about that.
So,
I loved it.
I guess also like spoilers. I mean,
spoilers.
First of all, like I recommend anybody listening to this, like go see it.
Yeah.
I mean, it's probably going to come out on Disney Plus sooner or later, but like it deserves so much more.
I thought, I thought definitely some of the action sequences were really well done. Like a lot of the fight sequences where there's an element of power swapping going on in the movie where they're like whenever they use their powers at the same time, the characters change places. So they were. I mean, it made it a lot of fun, entertaining fight sequences because of that. I
mean, I guess like just go from the very beginning. Like, I mean, also like it's cool that happens because I mean, going back, I'm a big Marvel fan. I've read a lot of like the older stuff, so there is also like this aspect. I don't know if they completely planned it, but like there was this character called Rick Jones who was like who was the power bands. Who whenever there was a stint in time when like he had the power bands or the negative bands, and the original Captain Marvel or Marvel was in the negative zone. But whenever Rick Jones needed him to like come out and like be like it was
very Shazam.
Yeah, very Shazam. Like he would knock his bands and Captain Marvel would come and switch places, and Rick Jones was then in the negative. So maybe that I don't know if that was exactly what they were going for, but it kind of like it harkens back to that where it's like switching places.
I thought it was also a great way to kind of depower Carol Danvers' character from where we saw her in Endgame where she could take out an entire armada by herself. Yeah. Like, how do you make anyone a threat when you've got a character that powerful now? Well, you put this thing where, well, now she can't really use her powers, or they have to work together, and
she can't just like go. Together. She can't just do it all herself,
right?
Because if she tries, she could endanger people.
Yeah, exactly. Because she tries at the beginning of the movie, and she's like, "No, don't worry about it," and then she keeps getting zapped into, Jersey, So it was a great way to kind of
depower her because that is a big part of like why a lot of like fanboys don't like her because they're like, oh, she's too OP, she's too OP, she's overpowered, like where's the drama in that? Like, so this was a good way to kind of like bring her down a little bit
and kind of force her into a team dynamic because then they'll realize like, oh, all three girls should be together, so that way it lessens the amount of switching around. I will say I didn't like the villain.
I've heard she's very forgetful.
I'll give you $30 right now if you can remember the character's name.
No. I can't. I'm going to be very honest. I don't even know if it is a reference to an actual Marvel villain.
I looked it up, and it's like a very, very obscure villain.
Okay. Because there is the.
It was in a couple issues, and that's it.
From like Guardians of the Galaxy, she's sort of like the second in command of.
Right, she's another Ronin.
Accuser. Like it is very forgettable.
And I like the actress a lot. I think she was good, but it was just like it was just another one of those Marvel characters that just throws in a bin with. And
I think there could have been a bigger. I mean, once again, like I feel like with the Marvels, there is a lot of meddling with Disney, with Marvel, because in my mind, we get a flashback to one of the big cusps of. Or one of the big issues of the movie is why didn't Captain Marvel come back to Earth after she left in the 90s from Captain Marvel, the first movie? And the big the answer to that is that she, spoiler alert, went back to the Kree, destroyed the Prime Intelligence?
The
Supreme Intelligence?
Supreme Intelligence, yeah. Just like the AI that runs.
The AI. I've heard the plot, yeah.
Okay.
And the planet died because of that or something?
Yeah.
Well,
there was a civil war after she destroys the Supreme Intelligence, takes off.
And then kind of just nopes out.
Yeah. Yeah, and so then there's a civil war on the planet where somehow they destroy the sun?
Yeah, somehow they lose all their water, they lose all their air, and the sun somehow...
Never really... It's so that should have been, that's Captain Marvel 1.5 movie.
The planet doesn't go flying out into space because there's no more center of gravity.
And literally
still kind of there. But
literally in the movie, it's like it is like not even a 5 minutes, like maybe a 3-minute flashback of her doing that.
It's so weird.
I think in a different timeline, there was like that was the beginning of the movie,
right?
And it was like maybe a 10-minute segment of like, oh, this is what she did, and it is a bigger story.
It is a different script out there for Captain Marvel 2 before it became the Marvels.
Yeah, and then her the rest of the or what we're supposed to believe, the rest of the movie is her like trying to make up for that mistake, because how many of us have like thought of like this grander plan, like, oh, if I just did this.
How many of us haven't destroyed a sun?
Well, no. But like, if
she didn't destroy the sun.
She didn't destroy the sun. She destroyed the.
Many of us haven't destroyed a civilization.
She destroyed.
She took out
she destroyed capitalism. She destroyed capitalism. On the Kree home planet.
Pretty much.
And everything fell apart. You see
and
what
then
happens?
kind of just like noped out and didn't like look back and like, oh, maybe I should like stay here and like try to like figure out like, okay, now that I've destroyed this thing, what should I do?
Right.
She just noped out, and then she realized, like, oh, that was a mistake. But instead of, like, helping the Kree, because the Kree didn't want her help, because then they started calling her, like, the Annihilator. The Annihilator, which is another Marvel villain, which is kind of weird.
Yep.
So she then, like, tries to help other planets. And that's why she didn't come back to Earth, because she was helping other planets to make up for the mistake that she felt she made.
And she felt the guilt. She says like she didn't want to go back because there's a great bit where Monica Rambeau is like, why didn't you show up when my mom was dying of cancer? And she says like, I didn't want her to see me this way as the annihilator of world. Like she stayed away.
Okay.
And the best part, I mean, like, I did like some of the relationship stuff between Monica and Carol, and how like she was her Auntie Carol, and she just wasn't there when Maria Rambeau was dying of cancer, and Monica got upset, and they haven't really talked in like, was it 10 years or something? And you realize it's because like, like Carol didn't want to come back because she felt this guilt of what she did to the Kree Empire, and she's like trying to make up for it.
And I've heard a lot of people online going like, oh man, just suck it up. It's like, yeah, maybe as a superhero you think maybe, but like to bring her down or to like make her more relatable to regular people, it's like, once again, like how many of us have like just not talked to another friend or haven't answered a friend's text just because it was too long in between texts, to like say like, oh, I'm sorry, I was like going through some stuff. So it's a bigger thing, but it's like it is the equivalent of like not texting someone back after like 2 weeks or a month. But in superhero form. Yeah. So I mean, I don't know. So I understand like they were trying to do a lot with it, but I think there was a lot of things that like were on the cutting room floor.
It's the shortest Marvel movie ever put out. It's,
right.
Barely was it 2 hours?
No, it was under 2 hours. I think it was like
it's like an hour and like 20 minutes, 30 minutes, something like that. Less than that.
That's crazy.
Which I think it probably also like came into like they wanted to put it as, because I will say like I saw it the weekend of, and it was playing like every 30 minutes. So I think they were really trying like, I'm not sure about this, so like let's try to
get
put
as
it out.
much money as we can.
Get as much money that first weekend, and unfortunately, it didn't pan out. There was just a lot of things that were just like going against it, And we haven't even talked about like I forget the actress's name who plays Miss Marvel, Kamala Khan.
I love her so hard.
Absolutely,
she's so great in this, and I love her enthusiasm. I love she's the fangirl, so she is just through the entire time like she's getting zapped to different places. She's like, is this an Avengers test? Like she's great, and her whole family dynamic in there is really great. It was a really good just
she was
good.
She was the perfect if people who were like, oh, I don't know if I want to watch this because of like I haven't seen WandaVision, I haven't seen Miss Marvel. I will say like there were only a couple of things where it's like, I wonder if that gets more explained in Miss Marvel the TV series.
Probably.
But overall, like it is a pretty much like you can go into it blind. There's a lot of things.
Agree. Yeah.
But no, she's like the perfect audience. I forget the word.
Stand in for
the audience, because like she's always like coming in like, and she's like, oh, is it like this thing? It's like, yeah, it's like that thing. It's like, and no, she's just like has so much enthusiasm, and her as an actress, like I believed every single word that was coming out of her mouth, and she seemed like she was having a great time every second.
That's cool.
Once again, like it's sad because recently people did, or I forget, she did an interview where was asked, how do you feel about like the low numbers of Miss Marvel? And she had to me, the most perfect answer, which was, you know what? I
can't control it.
I can't control it. I don't want to worry about things I can't be in control of.
Yeah.
I had a great time with it, and I'm proud with the product. The people that are most important to me saw it, and that's all important.
Yeah.
And that was amazing,
That's
especially
all,
for how young she is. Like that's really good. I'm glad that she like has a positive spin on it.
Yeah. Yeah, I mean, they were projecting a $65 million opening, Disney itself, so even they knew it was probably going to be pretty bad, but it opened at a $45 million opening. So it's just, it's a punch right in the solar plexus for Disney. Let me ask you this. Where do you think Marvel goes from here? Because I think I think they just recently announced like 3 more like R-rated shows.
Yeah. But they're definitely readjusting. I mean, I was thinking,
because I think things have to change after this.
This was
because I mean, after this, like technically next year, the only I'm doing quotes because this is a podcast. The only Marvel movie that's happening is Deadpool.
I got one. Yeah.
And I guess Madam Web, but we'll talk about that.
We'll get
and Craven, I guess. Like
that's a whole different.
The only Marvel movies we're getting
are Sony.
Yeah, or Sony, or like technically Fox-ish.
Yeah.
But
because who knows what's going on with Daredevil now? You know, and they're releasing Echo December.
Yes, I think the trailer said December.
Also, we're getting like What If season 2 in December as well.
Oh, yeah.
They're doing an episode per night for like 7 nights instead of like dropping the whole thing or doing it weekly. I think it's an interesting strategy. I don't know.
I mean, I think it is. I mean, it's a good idea. I'm not sure if the normal public is going to really acknowledge this, but like to take a year break, at least from like movies, to reassess some things.
I think it's a great idea.
Once again, like, because I mean, I think they talked about it in the news as well, where it's like they just felt like
it's market saturation.
Market saturation, not only with DC, but like other, like there's even like other superhero stuff that's happening with Invincible as well, or. But it's good that they're going to take like a little bit of time off.
I think it's a great idea.
It is crazy to think like with Daredevil Born Again, the whole shakeup is that like, oh wow, we don't have a showrunner, we don't have like a pilot, we don't have like a set plan of what's happening. It's kind of amazing they've been able to. I mean, I was gonna say like it's amazing that they've been able to like do this for so long, but we're also forgetting that like the very beginning of this whole like franchise, Iron Man. They didn't have a finished script for Iron Man. Like they were like working on it on the day of. Originally they wanted to have the Mandarin as the main villain. And they just like on the fly go like, you know what? I don't think that's going to work. Let's do this instead. And that has like then jumpstart the entire Marvel universe. So like as weird as it does kind of think, or it is to think that they have been able to do this for so long, of course they're going to think they could do this because it's the very beginning of their whole process.
Well, and I think you can do that, but not with like 6 projects at the same time. Mm-hmm. You know what I mean? Like, and more is coming out about like the She-Hulk show. The first episode, like that whole sequence of her getting the powers, that was supposed to be in like episode 6. That wasn't even supposed to be in the first episode. Mm-hmm. And it was Marvel going like, "Oh, can you fix the effects on that? We're gonna throw that into in the first episode." And like the effects house going like, "What are you talking about?" Mm-hmm. Like that we're supposed to have like 6 more weeks to be able to work on that. Mm-hmm. So I mean, people going like, "Well, the effects were shoddy," stuff like that. It's like, well, there's reason. It's like they're trying to just like pump this stuff out and rearrange things and, like you said, on the fly, which you can do that if you're doing with one movie and you've got plenty of lead up time and plenty of post time. But, they're trying to dump all this stuff up, as soon as they can. And
at the same time, not really expect anything. Like, no one really expected Iron Man to be Iron Man.
Right. But now everything has that expectation.
Yeah. Everything. Like now, like Marvel has a prestige where it's like, oh, we expect, if we're going to give you our $20, we want to be like super entertained, and it needs to make sense, and it needs to like lead into the next Infinity War or whatever.
That's the thing with the Marvels. The Captain Marvel, the first movie, came out in between 2 Avengers movies. Mm-hmm. That just happened to be the biggest blockbusters ever, and it made over $1 billion. But it was, it had those 2 pillars to kind of lean on. Mm-hmm. Well, now we haven't had a Avengers movie in 4 years.
I do feel like, I was thinking about this earlier, if the Marvels came out like a month after Miss Marvel, the TV series, I think it would have done so much better.
Probably. Yeah,
I forget. I forget exactly when Miss Marvel came out. I enjoyed it.
21, wasn't it? 22?
Was it?
It was last year. Yeah.
Certainly
last
22.
Year? Okay. So, I mean, if there was a little bit more planning and like it came out, because it does pick up, I mean, The Marvels picks up right where Miss Marvel ends, which Brie Larson coming through at the end of that teaser. Miss Marvel switched places with Kamala, and it starts right off that from the movie. And I feel like if it was like if The Marvels came out like a month or 2 after that movie or after that TV series, this would be doing so much better.
Yeah, I agree.
Because people would like be more like into it, or be like have like more of a gateway to it. But like now that Miss Marvel has ended, like we had we had Thor 4. Love and Thunder. We had Thor, Love and Thunder. We had.
Didn't we have Black Widow in between that too?
No. We had Thor, Love and Thunder. We had
Guardians.
Right. That's
and then
we
had Ant-Man.
Quantumania. Yeah.
And now, did we have Doctor Strange? No. Multiverse of Madness.
That was last year.
Okay. But yeah, just there's been so much stuff in between that, and it's like. I don't know, and people are gonna like forget about like what.
Yeah, I was just checking the day, and Miss Marvel aired in June of last year.
Okay,
so it's been a lot of lead time. Mm-hmm. But I mean, I know that the schedule got shaken up too, where I think the Marvels were supposed to come out last year, and then it got pushed.
Right.
Yeah, the writer's strike and the actor's strike has like done a lot. Mm-hmm. A lot of things got pushed around. I am kind of surprised. Like I mean, I don't know if like it would have done better because there's not going to be any like Marvel movie next year. If it would have been better to like save the Marvels for like a July next year.
Yeah.
I don't know.
Yeah, it's unfortunate. And then like Secret Invasion being its like lead-in show, which did nothing.
Nick Fury is a completely different person.
Right.
Like, this could have done Secret Invasion. It could have been like on a different timeline because he's not the same Nick Fury.
Nope. I was like, "Where's his Skrull wife?" Not in the movie.
I could see if we were only counting the movies, I could kind of see the Nick Fury we see in the Marvels as the Nick Fury. But if we're counting like Secret Invasion, did he show up in Winter Soldier and the Falcon? I can't remember for life of me.
He did.
I don't recall him. No.
But yeah, just like this brooding Nick Fury who's kind of like tired of everything.
Not in
the Marvels. He's just Uncle Nick Fury.
Nick, yeah,
and like he's
throwing people into cats.
Yeah,
you know?
he's having a great time, and I love that. But like, if you're a diehard fan and you watch Secret Invasion, yeah, you're gonna look at this Nick Fury and like, who the hell is this guy? Mm-hmm.
And the big point of that show was, that Earth is now against any aliens showing up. There's the president comes on TV in that show and goes like, we're gonna wage war on any alien that shows up on Earth. Never talked about it.
Really?
No, not one thing. And it's like, was Secret Invasion supposed to take place after this movie? I don't know.
I mean, there was a lot of talks about how like Secret Invasion kind of got like super streamlined. Like, I mean, I don't know. Secret Invasion could have been a movie. Like, it really did go on too long. It could have been like just like its own thing.
My favorite think piece I read about it was Peacemaker show was a better Secret Invasion show than Secret Invasion.
Oh yeah, yeah.
Interesting. Ah, okay. Oh yeah, that is that's a good comparison.
Like James Gunn made a better Peacemaker,
right.
Secret Invasion show.
Right.
But you totally do see the connection between the Suicide Squad and Peacemaker.
Absolutely.
Like those two characters, like those, I mean, obviously it's John Cena, but you can see the progression or you can see the connection.
But you can't see him.
No.
Boom, boom, boom.
Fuck you.
Couldn't help yourself.
But yeah, so you can see the connection between the Peacemaker of the movie to the Peacemaker of the TV series,
which is why I'm really looking forward to what James Gunn does with the DCU.
Right.
Yeah.
I mean, he's, we're getting more and more announcements from there. We're hearing more and more what's going on with Superman Legacy, which sounds really interesting. I'm excited for it all.
Yeah. Speaking of new comic book stuff, new Marvel stuff, they just released the Madam Web trailer.
The movie we've all been waiting for.
We've all been waiting for.
From the makers of Morbius.
Yes.
From the makers of Morbius and like the Sony
and Kraven the Hunter.
Everyone's favorite C-list characters in the Spider-Man universe.
What did you guys think of the trailer?
Oh boy.
So like, I mean, wow, I don't even know where to begin. I watched it and I'm like, because I'm still like, I'm preparing myself for Kraven the Hunter.
Yeah, you're Kraven the Kraven.
Yeah, just because I'm a nerd. I'm sorry. I'm gonna watch. Like I'm probably the problem. I'm gonna.
You're the reason this is happening.
I'm gonna watch this just to see, like, okay, is this, because I love bad movies. I love unintentional bad movies. I enjoy it. I enjoy picking them apart. And so I'm curious, like, is this going to be like a really bad movie, or is this going to be a meh movie, or could this possibly be a good movie? Because like everybody, no one intends to
based on that trailer. I don't think it's going to be a good movie.
Yeah,
well, you never know. Like I don't know.
It's either going to be bad or meh.
Madam Meh.
Madam Meh. There you go. Yeah.
I mean, every line sounded like they were reading off cue cards. Like it just,
exactly. Yeah.
Like, and I don't know if that's like, I don't think she's a bad actress.
What I was about to say, which is weird because we know she's an established actress,
right?
But every time she delivered a line in the trailer, it did sound like it was like. You ever seen SNL where you can clearly tell they're looking off stage?
That's what I was thinking.
That's what it felt
like an
SNL
SNL sketch.
Yeah, and
I
don't know. It just it seemed very stilted. I don't know why they went with Madam Web, but maybe because they're trying to write off of the success of Spider-Man, I guess.
I mean,
so people are going to confuse those two.
That's all Sony's got.
That's what Sony's got. Like they got all the. I mean, why didn't they go? I mean.
Yeah, I know they got the Spider-Man Rogue Gallery, so I guess that's what
they keep wanting to do, like a Black Cat. They keep wanting to do a Silver
Sable,
which I would have loved.
Yeah.
But yeah, I think they're like are really like trying to like go with like, well, people really want a spider character.
Some kind of spider. Yeah.
So we got spider characters. We got like a Spider Women. We got multiple Spider Women.
Yeah.
So let's
how do we make sure that the bad guy is invested? Oh, he was there when her mom died.
In the Amazon.
Spider.
In the Amazon.
In the Amazon. Spider. It's the worst.
It's the worst delivered
line
line
ever.
Which once again, like, I mean, I'm such a nerd because I'm gonna be honest, I was a little excited. Okay, so the main, or at least from what the trailer told us, the main villain is a character called Ezekiel,
right?
Who was introduced in a John Krasinski. J.J. Krasinski. It was during.
Sam is our Spider-Man expert.
It was during like a J.J. Krasinski.
Let's say John Krasinski did
John
something.
Krasinski. God, I can't remember his name. But anyways, it was during the Spider-Man time where they were doing. It was before Spider-Verse. It was before like introducing like multiple Spider people. There was just Spider-Man. But then Ezekiel came in and he said like, "Hey, I also have spider powers." And I've been doing this. I've been a Spider-Man for like over 60 years, but I just haven't been a hero. I've been using my spider powers to be a businessman. I've been able, and
That's interesting. Okay.
it was a really interesting storyline. It was during Amazing Spider-Man. It was like 2000, I want to say 3 or so.
Was this with the when he got the organic shooters and all that?
It was leading into that, so it was kind of like it was like the introduction to that to bring him into the Toby verse,
right?
So he was getting like some like new powers. He was gonna be able to like control spiders per se.
Right, this is all through like mysticism. And magic.
It was getting more into like the like Spider-Man was becoming more like magical instead of just like more technical.
Yeah,
and it's also where we got the introduction to the spider vampires. I think his name is.
Spider
not Morbius. It was
close.
I was thinking
Morbius.
Something along that.
They just turned the B into a D.
Yeah, so I mean,
I'm
going to be very honest. It's been a long ass time since I've done that,
and
they kind of like erased everything of that era during the One More Day storyline for Spider-Man. But yeah, so Ezekiel was like an older, more or less Spider-Man who we're supposed to believe was he was kind of like becoming a mentor to an older Spider-Man.
He was a good guy.
He was a good guy, or he was like a neutral guy. He was a neutral guy, and warning him about the spider vampire, who is a interdimensional character. Dear God, Marvel was an interdimensional spider or an animal vampire. He only eats people whose totems are animal based.
Okay.
So, and Ezekiel's whole thing was like, oh, well, I'm gonna like technically the spider vampire is gonna come after me, but I'm gonna trick him into thinking that Spider-Man is the actual totem. And
so was Ezekiel from a parallel universe? Or
No,
he was from there.
No, he was still from the Marvel universe.
Oh, okay.
He did his own thing. So yeah, it's kind of like I'm gonna be a long story short. Part of me was kind of like, oh fuck, they're actually like gonna wait. Do you guys curse? Okay.
Yes.
So fuckity fuck. They are doing Ezekiel. They're even doing this. Okay, like once again, one of his big things in the comics is that he's in a suit, but with like bare feet and bare hands, and they do that in the trailer as well. Which, like me personally, like wow. I didn't know I was going to like live to see the day of Ezekiel in a suit with bare feet. But they do it.
I don't know that much about Madam Web. What is her... I know she's like an ally of Spider-Man.
I just remember from the old cartoon.
That's the only thing I remember.
She's like an old lady sitting in a giant chair.
Yeah, that's the only thing I know about her. I know she's in the comics, but that's the only thing I know about her.
She is sort of the watcher of the Spider-Man universe.
That's what
Yeah, she is pretty much like, I mean...
Voiced by Stan Lee's wife in that cartoon.
Yes.
That's right. Yeah, that's right.
So she completely, like, she is just the watcher of the Spider-Man universe. For the most part, they have, like, try to make her like the one from the cartoon series died, and a new Spider Woman then took over the role of Madam Web.
Is the ability to tell the future part of it, or is that something they introduced her to this?
She can't see the future, but mostly what is involved with Spider-Man. So she can't see everything, but like she can see the webs. like webs of a spider.
A very particular set of skills.
It branches out. So like, what Spider-Man does in one moment, she has like, there was a Nicolas Cage movie where it's like, I don't know, 24 or like The Knowing, I think it was.
Oh.
She has knowing powers.
Okay.
So it's like things can happen and it branches off to other things, but then she can pull herself. Or usually she just tells people, but in this movie it seems like, she just pulls herself back. Like,
she can control the outcome.
Or Groundhog's Day. She has Groundhog's Day powers.
Wow.
But then also in this movie, like they are also introducing like
3 other Spider Women, right?
Right.
At least 3 other or 2. I'm gonna be honest. Like a lot of the Spider Women, I recognize from like pictures, but I didn't really read much.
Right.
There's like one in particular that was a Mexican American character who had like a lasso, was more tech based. I forget how she got her spider powers, and that's in this movie. Like they're really digging deep for this stuff, and I just don't understand.
Like, they're just throwing whatever they can at the wall and see what sticks. It seems like it because they have the characters, they paid for them, so they might
I will
as well,
say one thing: like this costume that Ezekiel, or at least who they are saying is the villain of this movie, that's not in the comics, and that thing looks fucking terrible. Like I have no idea.
It reminded me a lot of remember the Spider Clone Kane?
Okay.
Like that kind of weird, like broken down webbing on there.
Yeah,
and stuff.
but just it kind of looks like a CW suit.
That's a good. That's a good.
But it looks like
that's a good way to
seems
refer.
like that's going to be the only suit we see in the show.
They want people to think that it's a Spider-Man, but it's not.
The entire show. The entire trailer kind of looked like a WB show.
Yeah,
it kind of reminded me of that.
And then
even Madam Web's just wearing a leather jacket.
Yeah. Which is red, which is what her costume is in the comic. So basically. Yeah.
I can't even remember what she looks like in the comic.
I mean, she's an 80-year-old woman in a web chair because she is paralyzed.
See.
But also, it's really weird. Like, I don't know what they're trying to do with this movie because they also introduce I don't know if it's Ben Parker or if it's Peter Parker's dad is a EMT with Madam Web. Ben Schwartz, I think, who is in Parks and Rec. Also,
Adam
Schwartz or
no? Oh shoot,
Parks and Rec.
Yeah, Parks and Rec. Eastbound Down. Party Down.
Yeah. Looking it up.
Shit. Okay. Yeah. Sorry. Let's pause.
No. It's what about him though?
Well, he's playing a Parker. I forget I don't know if he's playing Ben Parker or if he's playing.
It's Adam Scott.
Adam Scott.
Wow.
Oh, okay. Yeah.
Okay. I was way off. I'm terrible.
No. You're all right.
I'm terrible with names.
Schwartz, Scott, same diff.
No.
So he's playing a Parker.
He's playing a Parker. He's playing either Richard Parker, who is, I believe, Peter Parker's dad, or he's playing a young Ben Parker.
So I saw him in the trailer as an EMT.
Yeah. So
interesting.
So I don't know what they're doing because technically this movie, from what I understand, is taking place in like either the late 90s or early 2000s.
Okay, that's wild.
Yeah.
All right.
I think, I don't know. Like I could be like looking too deep into this. Like they are trying to do kind of a reboot of their Sony universe of like, hey, why is Spider-Man not in this universe?
Well, and what helps is with the MCU, with Tom Holland, we haven't seen his Uncle Ben yet. We don't know, so it could be Adam Scott, could be Uncle Ben.
And also, like, technically, Sony doesn't need permission from Marvel.
Right.
They can technically do whatever they want. In the beginning of these trailers, it's like in association with Marvel. It's like Marvel has no. They can like say like, "Hey, I don't think that's a good idea." Sony's going to do whatever they want. It's like you guys. If I say like, "Hey guys, I think I'm going to do crack," and you guys say like, "Hey, I don't think that's a good idea," And I'm like, I'm still going to do it.
Right.
But in my note to my loved ones, I'm like, in association with Enter the Nerdom, I did crack. So
that's a good metaphor. But we going back to Marvels, we skipped over something. The Beast, talking about multiverses.
The ending.
The ending. Yeah. We had bringing it back to Marvel and Sony and everything. We have Beast at the end of the Marvels.
Well, we had the Beast and the Marvels, and then we also had
Kate Bishop.
We also had like the introduction to possibly the Young Avengers.
Which I like that little bit. You know, I know a lot of people criticized it because they're like, "Well, why would Kamala Khan know what Nick Fury said to Iron Man and all that stuff?" And I was like, it's just a fun bit for the crowd. You know, exactly. It's a little wink and a wink for the audience.
Audience knows that's what Nick Fury says.
Because she does the same bit. So Kate Bishop comes home, the lights are off, and it's Kamala Khan giving you're part of a bigger universe now than you know, and kind of thing. And it's fun.
But that is also like a bigger thing about like audience participation, because like then knowing Kate Bishop has to go all the way back
to the
like
Hawkeye show,
2020 or maybe 2021.
Yeah,
where it's like, who the hell remembers Kate Bishop from the Hawkeye show?
Yeah.
I mean, I do because I watched Hawkeye, but like, but Joe Schmo, who hasn't, like,
that's
like, you
the
don't
problem.
even see her. Yeah, you don't see her like fight crime or anything. She just walks in. She's got the purple outfit on, but I don't even think you don't even see her like put down a bow and arrow or anything like that. It would have been good if you saw her like stop a crime or something.
Yeah. So we have the first. I forget which one came first. We either have we have Kamala Khan saying like, "Hey, Kate Bishop, you're part of a bigger world. I'm putting together the Young Avenger Initiative, basically," and she's like, "Cool."
Yeah.
So so there's that, and then which can lead into like having whoever. So once again, like, oh god, Miss Marvel. I mean, the Marvels leads into more of the TV series, because then you could like have like Hulk's son, who's Sakaar, who we saw at the end of She-Hulk.
Yeah.
Who we call and we could also have
Isaiah Bradley.
Bradley
who we saw from
Winter Soldier and the Falcon, or Winter Soldier and Captain America. We could also have like a young Loki, who we could even have like Tom Holland's Spider-Man, who wasn't part of the original Young Avengers in the comics,
right?
But because he's still technically a young person in the Marvel Universe, he could be a young Avenger.
Or it could be a good place to possibly introduce a Miles Morales.
That's true. Okay.
Ooh, that'd be very good.
Okay.
Yes.
Okay.
Because he's supposed to be super young, like 12, 13 years old. But you know, and then of course so we didn't really talk about the finale of the Marvels, where Photon sacrifices herself so the villain's plan is to open up these so you know, you've seen it throughout the Marvel universe, is these hexagon kind of warp wormholes that all the ships go through, right? And so she's found a way to open these up to steal resources from other planets to help her planet. Right. Because like we said, the sun's gone dead and the water's all gone. So she is now going to planets that Captain Marvel has loved and calls home, and is stealing resources, basically. So she opens up a rift over Earth to steal the sun, steal power from the sun to help her planet. And, you know, the three Marvels are there, and they're like, okay, we can use Kamala's got the bangles on that can close the rift, and you know, Captain Marvel can focus the power, and then Photon can close the rift, kind of thing. So she's closing the rift and realizes that she has to be, and it's like it's a doorway to a parallel universe, and she realizes like, I have to stay on this side to close it all the way. Right. So she sacrifices herself to close the rift, and she's now trapped on the other universe. So then it cuts to her in a hospital bed, and she wakes up to find her mother is alive in this universe, and as is the character Binary, who was in the 80s, 90s, Captain Marvel, the Carol Danvers character became overpowered and became binary. And so she has like the binary suit on, which is really cool. And then you see that they're actually in the X Mansion from the movies. Like it's got that same silver and blue.
Oh, I see.
Look.
I wasn't getting that. Like it was in the X Mansion of the movies. I don't
you
know.
See like one of the doors behind a window.
I don't know. It just looks like
it's got the X on it.
Yeah. I mean, it just looked like an Apple store where it's like it was white and you know.
That's what the X-Men Mansion looked like from the movies.
And then you hear a voice which is Hank McCoy's voice, which is
Kelsey Grammer
is reprising the role
from
again.
X3.
Yeah, and you see a very CGI beast this time.
Right.
Just saying, you know.
But it does look very much more like the 90s.
Yes, they definitely based it more on that.
Yeah.
And this feels like it isn't the universe from the X-Men movies, but it's not the universe. You know, it's like, you know, we're talking about countless universes here, so it does feel more like the cartoon in that regard. And I like that ending. I liked it. I think I would have liked it if Carol did this big sacrifice play.
I was gonna say like the sacrifice. It didn't need to happen. I mean, no one needed to sacrifice themselves. Like it felt very hollow.
Right.
I knew it was coming a mile away.
Yeah.
And I was just like, why?
Yeah.
Like, I mean, writing wise, like people who write scripts are like what? Why?
Right.
Like what was the? I couldn't see it.
Well, I only wanted it, selfishly, I wanted it to happen so that you'd have had that post-credit where you would have Captain Marvel, like Carol Danvers, meeting Rogue. And like have Anna Paquin there.
Ooh,
that'd have been dope.
But see, that's going like deep cut.
That
where
is,
it's like
'cause that's where Rogue gets
her powers
Right.
from Captain Marvel.
See, I would have liked that.
Oh, that's right, because she touched her. Yeah, that's right. Oh shit, I forgot about that. That'd have been good. I like that. See, why don't we get that?
Henry Marvel.
Why don't we get that?
But then once again, it's going like so deep cut to like us guys enter the Nerdom exactly.
Right.
Where it's like you're going so deep into like this stuff where it's like, you know,
I mean, it's nice they had that mother-daughter moment for Maria and Monica, but at the same time, it's like she didn't recognize Monica. She was like, "Who are you anyway?" So it was like they didn't have that connection. So it's like a very one-sided thing. Like, oh, I found my mom. She has no idea who I am.
But Monica, and this will be kind of cool if I said this to you guys earlier, where it's like because Marvel is also going to be putting out a continuation of the 93 X-Men cartoon series. And if
they have her,
if they have Monica in there as a character and that like leads in, I mean I
would have liked that. That would have been good.
Too much. I mean, to me that's too much integration to this like Marvel experience.
And I think that the fans of the cartoon,
it'd be fun but weird.
I think the fans of the cartoon would be upset with that too because
they want their own
I think they want that to be up by itself. Yeah,
I agree.
Like if it starts interacting with everything else, they're gonna be like, "You're muddying the waters."
But Kelsey Grammer's Beast definitely looks like the 93, like the X-Men, and they even have like the
and I get it. Like you can't. I mean, Kelsey Grammer's what 70 something now. Like he's a little too old.
He's
to
still
put
Frasier. Yeah. He's still like doing his Paramount.
He's not gonna. He's not gonna sit in the makeup chair for 4 hours. For a 10-minute. Whatever it is.
But he'll get in a recording booth.
Yeah, exactly.
They could have totally but like with Hellboy 1, the Doug Jones was in the makeup for Abe Sapien.
Yeah.
Oh yeah.
And
they had Niles.
They had oh god, that is like
another Kramer.
They had Niles do his voiceover.
Yeah.
So they could have totally had like a guy in Beast makeup.
Beast makeup,
and just like voice over him. Like
that's true. That's true.
Not only do we have AI technology, we have like the voice over technology. Like, come on,
we have hours of Kelsey Grammer that we can sample.
Niles.
Why is Beast calling everyone Niles?
I thought his doctorate was in medicine, not psychology. Pedro Pascal has been somewhat announced as Reed Richards in these Fantastic Four movies. What do you guys think of that?
I mean, I have nothing against Pedro Pascal. I actually, a long time ago, I thought he would. I was like kind of excited there was talks that he was Uncle Ben for a little while
in
Tom Holland's Spider-Man.
I like that,
but that didn't happen.
Yeah.
So now he's possibly Reed Richards.
Well, he's everyone's internet daddy, so he might as well be the daddy of the Fantastic Four. It's a little weird that this news came out through like Dateline, I think. So it's not
Something
really.
like
an
it's not official.
It's not official.
I don't think the paperwork's been signed.
No, and I think they probably won't announce it for real until they have everyone locked in.
Yeah.
But also, I'm going to be don't get me wrong. I'm excited for the Fantastic Four version of the Marvel Universe.
Mm-hmm.
But where, the same thing with the X-Men, where is that going to fit into this slate, into this universe? Because now we're so integrated into, we have the Avengers, we have Spider-Man, we have the Guardians of the Galaxy. I guess we technically have Inhumans. We have Eternals.
Eternals, yeah.
We haven't talked about. Yeah. We haven't talked about Shang-Chi.
Yeah.
We have so many things. We have Moon Knight.
Mm-hmm.
Where is the Fantastic Four going to come in? Have they been in the negative
Don't forget
zone?
the Defenders.
Oh, the Defend. Well, but no. That's in Netflix. That's in
exactly.
Netflix.
Exactly.
Daredevil Born Again. We're born again. Don't think about that. Don't think about that.
Yeah, I'm interested to see if there's any kind of reference to.
I mean, we've been talking about Blade was announced back
Blade
in
is
2019.
Yeah, that's some serious trouble.
The biggest shit show.
Yeah,
and where is that? Vampires. Don't get me wrong. Marvel
They apparently cannot get a script written.
No. So they had because
they
had
lost another director.
Well, so I read about because apparently he wasn't even the main character in his own movie. They were focusing more on his daughter.
They were pulling a Blade Trinity already?
Exactly. And so, of course, Marvel at some point looked at it and was like, it's probably not a great idea, so let's scrap it and start all over again. And the main actor,
Mahershala Ali.
Yeah, he was kind of complaining. I was like, what the fuck's going on here? This is not... This is a Blade movie. Why are we focusing on a different character?
I haven't seen him in any other movie. I feel like he's just waiting for this to
He's basically been shooting this since 2019 or something. Yeah. They've been working on it for a while.
Mm-hmm.
So, which is pretty heartbreaking because he really wanted to do this and he was excited for it. And he was excited to take over the mantle.
Guys, we have 3 Blade movies. If you want to know how to write a script for this, you got 3 examples of it right there.
Yeah.
That all did really well.
Yeah. Well, 3 wasn't.
Wow.
It did well.
And a TV show that was on Spike TV.
Yeah. Oh, that's right. Oh shit.
It was terrible.
It was terrible.
I was so ready. This happened last year. I mean, with Werewolf by Night. I was so ready.
That's what I thought we were going with.
Yeah, I thought they were going to introduce him there.
Which, by the way, if they're missing a director, get that guy to take
seriously,
a crack at it.
man. Yeah, Werewolf by Night was one. Because that's. I mean, we've been talking about how the shit that Marvel's been putting out, but that was really good.
Last Halloween.
Holy shit!
But also, that was just fun, good, lighthearted. Does Joe Schmo know about Man Thing? No, it's a big giant swamp thing.
Yeah.
So and he's fun.
Trademark. You can't say swamp thing.
Oh, sorry. He's a big. He's a man
thing of the swamp.
A thing of the swamp.
Thing of the swamp.
He's a thing of the swamp.
That just clears.
And there's a wolf by night. He's not a werewolf. He's just a wolf by night.
He's a wolf. Yeah, exactly.
But I was so surprised that it didn't get introduced in there. But and I once again just so much meddling because even in season 1 of Loki. Mobius.
Owen Wilson's character.
Owen Wilson's character. He mentions vampires in season 1.
Oh yeah! Wow!
And, wow! Vampires! Wow!
You gotta fight some vampires.
He mentioned that long ago, and we still don't have a Blade anything.
Yeah.
Not that we need a Blade anything in Marvel. We have so many things. Mm-hmm. I don't know. I guess to bring it all around, it's Marvel has so many things that they're trying to do, and I think they don't really. I don't know. Kevin Feige used to be able to just be I am the head of this, and everything comes through me. It's a one direction. But now it feels like he's
I think
lost his thing.
Yeah, after Infinity War, he kind of just stepped away. He's okay, this and that, take care of it.
I think that
he's
was
not on top of it as much as he used to be.
There was a lot of talks of him moving over to Star Wars.
Mm-hmm.
Right?
And I think it was after Endgame, that was his swan song, and he's all right, we're gonna set the wheels in motion for the next few years, and then I can kind of slowly back out. But then, of course, pandemic happens, and and
strikes
and
we're forgetting. Like, I mean, I give him credit. Like, I mean, I feel like Chadwick Boseman when he passed.
Yeah.
Like, I feel like Black Panther was supposed to be a very big linchpin
absolutely
of this next phase of Marvel, and when he passed, that completely like threw a wrench in a lot of things.
True.
So I give him credit for like trying to still make it work.
Yeah,
but
try to
like,
right the ship as it's going.
But it's just not working per se. Like, it's not still. I mean, to me as a fan, like, it's not terrible.
Right.
Like, there are some bad things, but like, I've read a lot of bad comics as well, and I still love Marvel. So, but like, I am a Marvel fan. I'm a comic book fan, and I'm used to not everything that comes out in print is great, but I still move forward. The regular Joe Schmo people that go to movies are not going to be so forgiving for shit.
No, because
and we're already seeing that.
You read a bad comic book, you're spending $4. You go see a bad movie,
24.
And 2 hours of your time.
Exactly.
Yeah.
Not including popcorn and all that other shit.
Right. And you got to wait another year or something till the next one compared to like next comic book could be great.
Yeah.
But to bring it all around, like, okay, so Kelsey Grammer as the Beast, that was a fun, interesting, like, end credit.
Yeah.
But like, what does that do? We're trying to like introduce the X-Men into the Marvel universe, but like,
I don't think that's going to go anywhere. I feel like that is, and that's the problem I've had with a lot of these little like these post credits that they've been putting in now. It doesn't seem to go anywhere. It's a lot of like little wink and nods to the fans.
They're cameos,
and then that's it.
Yep.
Like we're not forwarding the story, compared to like the last few phases where it was like, okay, we're going to show Thanos.
Yeah, every like thing from like phase 1 to phase, I forget what Endgame was, like phase 5 or say phase 4.
I think we're in phase 4.
Okay, so phase 3. Okay, but anyways, like every end credit was leading up
like a
to
progression.
Thanos, which we can also talk about like Jonathan Majors, because like every Thanos in the if anybody remembers, like there was a different actor who played Thanos or was like a motion capture Thanos for every end of the movie
until Guardians.
Not even until like
wasn't Brolin on board?
No, Infinity Gauntlet was when Brolin was on board. I forget the actual actor's name, but like there was someone different for every Thanos.
Damn.
And so now we have Jonathan Majors, but now we're also dealing with a lot of like accusations.
I think they're wrapping up. I mean, especially with this last season of Loki, they kind of did mention at the end. It's like, oh, don't worry about Kangs anymore. Like we got the TVA's got our eyes on them.
They have to pivot away from that.
Yeah,
which is,
so I feel like that was kind of an added thing of like, we could still use him, but if we don't, like, it's not going to affect things too much.
I'm so upset. Like, I mean, we can talk about this forever, and I'll drop it. But like, I did love. I mean, my idea of the multiverse was perfect when we were dealing with like Spider-Man No Way Home rules, where Peter Parker could be different actors. There was Tobey Maguire, there was Andrew Garfield, there was Tom Holland. Then we got into Doctor Strange, Multiverse of Madness, where every variant of Doctor Strange was
Benedict Cumberbatch, right?
Benedict Cumberbum. And then we got into Loki, which like every variant of Loki, if it was male, it was
not always Tom Hiddleston though, because
an older one.
That's true. That's true.
Yeah, Loki Kid.
Okay. But like, but
then Loki.
But then when we get into like Ant-Man Quantum of Solace, we have like every Kang is a Jonathan Majors.
Yeah.
They could have totally. Maybe this is also like in contracts and whatever, where Jonathan Majors like, only I get to play.
I did hear something about that too. Was because a lot of people were like, well, if you're having issues with an actor,
just recast him.
I did hear a rumor, and this could be completely made up, but I did hear in his contract he does state that he is the one and only guy to play Kang.
Okay.
But yet again, that's conjecture, and I don't know for sure.
Okay.
Well, it's Disney, so I'm sure there's a loophole in there somewhere.
Yeah.
Like if you get accused and get sent to prison for something.
Yeah, there's probably a morality clause or something.
All that to say is like the whole Secret Wars or like whatever they're leading up to for this time split. All these things is like, don't get me wrong. I mean, it's exciting to see it, but also like it's a really complicated. And, like, I don't know how they're going to stick this landing.
Well, I mean, the good thing about the Marvel Universe is there's plenty of giant megalomaniac bad guys, right? I mean, you could bring in the Beyonder. You could bring in Annihilus. You can bring in Galactus. You can bring, there's plenty of ways they can pivot away. I like Kang. Kang's a decent character.
But Kang has always been, like, kind of more of a Fantastic Four villain, which could lead into Pedro Pascal and the Fantastic Four Marvel version. So if he's gone, like, it's all up in the air. It feels very like a little disjointed. So I think also to go back to what Stan was saying is like, where do they go from here? Where it's like, I'm glad they kind of have this more or less this year to hopefully
kind of
reevaluate
and figure out like, what are we doing with this? Because like there's also been talks about, like, I've seen online where it's like, oh, they're going to reboot the Marvel Universe, which, like, I think is a terrible idea.
Yeah, they're talking about bringing back the legacy characters. Yeah. And it's just like, please don't do that. Yeah. Please don't do that.
That just smells of desperation.
Exactly.
Where it's like, you've already, like, done this. You've already, like, put these characters in place.
Yeah.
Just make better scripts. Just
exactly.
Like, I mean, I enjoyed Shang-Chi. I still enjoy Doctor Strange.
Yeah.
Just like, get better writers, I guess.
Right.
They're just panicking at this point.
Well, the thing with Daredevil is, I mean, that we've said that on the podcast about Daredevil before. It's like, if you fired all these people because it wasn't working, you know that Netflix has a Daredevil show, right?
Right.
Just bring them back, you know? And I'm sure there's some contractual something or another, probably Disney doesn't want to pay the money for the writers because they're going to ask for more. I'm sure that's what it is. But it's like, you're just, how many millions you just flush down the drain with the Netflix, the Daredevil show that just failed.
Yeah.
That you can't get off the ground.
They filmed what, like
8 episodes. Which is insane.
Say, like,
we'll never see them.
Let's get kind of the same thing with like the Batgirl movie, where it's like to be a fly on the wall, to see like those episodes, even without like all these special effects and whatever, but like to see what were they trying to do. Like, so see like like 8 episodes of a new Daredevil series that is now like just like completely deleted or like in some someone's hard drive somewhere. So like it's so interesting.
We're gonna break into that Disney vault.
We're doing it. When Shaq comes back, we'll do it. And then Nicholas Hoult was just announced as the new Lex Luthor. Speaking of still going on the topic of comic books.
He was on a top. He was on a lot of people's lists for
Superman.
For Superman.
Apparently he did test for Superman, which I could totally see him as Superman.
I heard a lot of people liked him for Batman as well, for the Brave and the Bold version of Batman.
Oh, interesting.
But I think he's going to make a really good Lex Luthor. I mean, he's a charismatic young guy.
I do hope that for the Superman legacy, James Gunn, like, don't get me wrong, I love the dynamic between Superman and Lex Luthor. I'm so goddamn tired of Lex Luthor and Superman. Superman has so many more rogue gallery
he's got a ton of them
that we haven't seen ever.
We haven't seen ever.
We haven't even seen Brainiac in movie form yet.
If we just want to like have, if we just have Nicholas Hoult just like in the background, or like he's on TV, like yes, I'm Lex Luthor. But like but we also have like, I forget her name, but like from the Authority, who's possibly like the bigger bad.
Oh, the engineer.
Yes.
Yeah, she just got cast. And I think they did say that that's a villain role. So.
Right. So maybe it's going to be like she comes in contact with Lex Luthor, and like, I also don't know I don't think this is an origin story for Superman Legacy. I don't know. I mean, we all know the origin of Superman. So like, and that's kind of the beauty of James Gunn. He's kind of like able to like not kind of skip more or less the origin stories of most characters and just get right into the meat of it.
I mean, much like with Spider-Man, it's like we've all seen the Spider-Man origin story. And so, like, when they introduced Tom Holland's Spider-Man, there was no origin. It was just like, yeah, he's been Spider-Man for a while.
And I love that because they just skip right over it. Like, great, let's jump right into it. We know how he got it. Yeah, we know Uncle Ben, all that. Okay, keep going. Yeah.
So we also got, like, I forget his name, but we also got, like, the actor who's going to be Jimmy Olsen as well.
Oh, yeah. I like that, filling out the universe a little more.
Maybe we'll get a Jimmy Olsen standalone movie.
I mean, we read a really good Jimmy. my pal Jimmy Olsen's a great book.
It is a good book.
They wanted to adapt it.
And then Dave Filoni was just named the CCO of Lucasfilm.
Yes.
Officially. I would have bet you you could have, like, said, like, if you put a gun to my head, like, name who is in charge of Lucasfilm, I would have, like, said, like, either Dave Filoni or Kathleen Kennedy.
Right.
Because I thought, like, Dave Filoni was already there. I know people were complaining about Kathleen Kennedy.
Well, I think everyone thought Favreau was going to be the natural pick.
Well, that's what I thought. Yeah.
Okay. But I think Favreau is moving on to some other things.
Well, the rumor is that he was clashing with Disney executives. That's why he moved on. Yeah. Particularly as Kathleen Kennedy.
But also, Filoni has been, like, in the Star Wars game since
20 years.
Right? Yeah, since since the original Clone Wars. He created Ahsoka. He
and he got to work side by side with George Lucas for so long. And, you know, if he has such reverence for the prequels, it's so funny. Like, you know, everyone bashes the prequels, and he will sit you down and talk you through the prequels and why they're important.
Also, I mean, I appreciate Dave Filoni in the sense that, like, he will acknowledge everything, even like the worst. Like, I mean, say what you will about the Mandalorian. Like, episode 1, he acknowledges Life Day.
Yeah,
and
that's true.
And Lucas has been, like, for, like, years before that, it was like, Life Day never happened. There's no such thing as Life Day. Fuck you if you ever think that Life Day is a thing. But then Dave Filoni comes in like, oh yeah, I was on my way to my family for Life Day. It's like, it's all Star Wars. So, like, he's very big into, like, trying to connect all the silliness of Star Wars and try to make it canon.
Well, I've heard him in interviews talk about, like, anything that's in the, you know, expanded universe is what they call it, or anything that was in the books. Like, if it works, why am I not going to use that? You know, like, of course I'm going to bring, you know, Thrawn into.
He brought in Thrawn, which was mostly just a Legends character, but then, like, Thrawn then became, like, a big bad of Rebels.
Yeah.
And
Ahsoka was great.
I recently just completely caught up on Ahsoka. Stan, I feel like you've been so quiet in this episode. Like,
I mean, you know, it's no. Go ahead. What do you think of Ahsoka, man? We talked about it in the last episode. Okay. I mean, my feelings for it are out there.
I enjoyed it, but also, like, I am.
He spray painted him on the wall.
Once again, I am that bad nerd, or quote unquote bad nerd. Where it's like, I'm just happy that
you're the nerd Disney loves.
I'm just happy. Like, no, I can still acknowledge things are shit, but I'm still, like, happy that things are still relevant.
Yes.
Like. I mean, I still liked the last Ninja Turtles movie, but did I love, like, the Michael Bay Ninja Turtles movies? Hell no. But it still was fun that, like, kids today are still enjoying things that I enjoyed in the 90s.
Yeah,
so
I think we're all old enough to remember the dark times when we didn't have this much stuff.
Yeah.
You know, we had, like, a movie once in a while, we had a TV show.
What are they, the dark times? What are they, the dark times? With what they've been putting out,
we mostly have, like, comic books. Like, I mean, our, like, extended universes were like, oh, we're gonna bring a comic book out that's talking about, like, the Silverhawks,
right?
And, like, that's gonna be, like, the closest thing we have to a sequel. Yeah, you know. So, like, I'm happy with most Star Wars stuff. I'm not the biggest Star Wars fan, but I am a Star Wars fan, and I enjoyed Ahsoka. Just for the hell of it. I think it would have been better if it was like the animated, like, Rebel. I think it would have made more sense to make it more like Rebels season 4, but for whatever reason they wanted to make it live action, so it was just Ahsoka.
Yeah.
So, and, you know, that was fine. Like, you know, it was fun to see everything in live action. Have they even announced because it kind of ends on a cliffhanger. Does it have
yeah.
a season 2 or officially?
I don't think they've announced it officially yet, but I'm sure they'll do it. You know?
Yeah, I think there's obviously with Ray Stevenson's death.
Right.
They probably are changing plans because I think his character was supposed to be a lot more significant going forward.
Yeah.
You know, because he was on this whole quest to find this hidden power in that part of the universe and everything, and who knows what that is going to go into now. You know, are they going to recast? Are they going to have, you know, a guy in a mask, you know, to play him? Who knows?
Yeah.
How much AI is going to be involved?
I don't
now
think,
that with
no.
the,
I think they're going to write him out completely. I think it's going to be.
Yeah.
It would be disrespectful to have some guy with CGI face on. You know, like they did Moff Tarkin.
Yeah, exactly. It's like, I don't think it's going to play.
Yeah.
So I think I don't think they've announced anything, but I mean we do know they're doing the movie, Filoni's movie, which is bringing all the shows together.
Oh, but they're also doing like the sequel for Rey Skywalker, Daisy Ridley's movie trilogy or whatever.
Yeah, it's supposed to be in 3. I mean, that's another Kathleen Kennedy creation. Yeah,
but that's set. I mean, the Filoni stuff and all the Mandalorian stuff is set in between
that.
Right.
Return of the Jedi.
It's that perfect pocket of
5
Star
years,
Wars.
Yeah.
It's like after the.
It's supposed to be the rise of the First Order.
Right. So then, I mean, the Rey stuff is all after. It's going to take place 10 years after
something like that.
Her last movie. So you know, they could. They're on different sides of the timeline. They can do whatever they want.
Sure.
Sure. And Stan is looking forward to all of it.
I'm gonna go watch all of it, and I'm gonna love all of it.
They officially announced that. I mean, they are doing a season 2 of
it was the Star Wars show.
The Star Wars show you
Andor?
love. Yeah, Andor.
The
only show that Stan likes.
That's a great fucking show.
It's gonna be interesting though, because that was supposed to be. About Andor. It was supposed to be 5 seasons.
Yeah,
and they're now taking the 4 seasons of scripts and making them into the 1 season.
Oh shit! Okay.
So there's gonna be a lot of time jumping in this season compared to the first season, which is pretty much just the first year is a year. The second season, from what I've heard, is going to be a condensed version of the 5 years leading up to Rogue One. So I don't know how it's going to go down. Hopefully it's all going to make sense. The first season is just it's so
masterful.
good.
It is good.
Masterful.
It is really
It's
good.
one of the best television shows ever made.
Yeah.
It's a Star Wars show that doesn't treat their audience
like children.
Yeah, for the first time, they're not like dumbing it down.
I've said this many times on this podcast. It's a show that's so well written because every character feels real, you know, and they feel like they're in a war, in a fight for their lives. That's what it feels like. Whereas a show like Ahsoka just feels like it's just like a couple of middle school kids put it together. It's just let's say you know it'd be cool if she gets stabbed in the stomach with a lightsaber, like. Actually, that kills people.
I'm sorry, Stan. Sometimes
that kills people.
I like taking
it doesn't.
I like taking my action figures and go like, "Hey, Leonardo, like, and Optimus Prime. I hate you." Like, and then just like mashing them together, like, and then they kiss. And so, like, you know,
and that'll be on Paramount Plus.
Yeah, exactly. That's you're gonna give them an idea for their show. Stop doing that.
I'm sorry. I like mashing my action figures together. I'm sorry. Like,
hey, this is cool guy with a mask.
Nightclub, and he's like, Leonardo, let's roll out.
Hey, there's this cool guy with a black mask. Let's see what he can do. Oh, nothing. He's just a puff of black smoke. Anyway.
Remember, when Stan watches more than 4 hours of Andor, he does have to call a cop. He has to call his doctor because he's got a raging heart on.
That's right. It's true. Yeah, for 4 hours.
That's what I was going for.
Well, Stan, if you're not watching the Marvels, you're not watching Loki, you're not watching
and I'll
Ahsoka,
probably watch Loki.
Yeah, what are you watching?
I watch Ahsoka. I watched all of it.
What trailers? What are you watching?
Yeah.
Like, what are you interested in?
I mean, I did watch Ahsoka just because I wanted to find out what's up with the show, right? Like, I had watched part of Rebels, and I was like, okay, let me see what this is like, because Rebels wasn't. I enjoyed it. It was okay. Yeah. I thought it was a little toned down for kids, which I think that's something that Disney and is guilty of, but that's fine. That's fine because
same with Clone Wars. If you watch Clone Wars, that was originally the first season is very much for kids,
right?
And then, they started realizing kids aren't really watching this show. It's a lot of the older parents. That's why, like, season 2, they get into, like, the bounty hunter stuff.
Right.
And then it gets really dark. And I think same with Rebels, where first season, very much like, hey, we have a kid protagonist, know, and like, oh, it's going to be a cute, fun show. And it does get more and more serious as the show goes on. Yeah,
exactly. But one of my biggest problems with Ahsoka is that the characters in Ahsoka don't act like the characters in Rebels.
Yeah.
Ahsoka doesn't act like Ahsoka. They just, and I'm sorry, but standing there with your arms crossed that's not content.
Well, to be fair, like, we only saw Ahsoka in, like, the last season. She got pulled out of the time loop or whatever. So we don't get much interaction with, like, Ahsoka in Rebels.
But we got a lot of her in the Clone Wars, and it's just like, I understand that she's grown now.
I absolutely hated
At first she was annoying.
You didn't like Snips.
She was annoying. The first couple episodes she was in was pretty annoying. It's like, shut up, dude. Like, stop.
Sky guy. Come on.
It was, I did have, like, a tear came to my eye a little bit seeing Hayden Christensen as Anakin again.
Yeah, I mean, that was cool, but that's the problem with the show. It's all key jangling. Hey, look how cool this is.
But I definitely, him in Ahsoka versus him in Obi-Wan felt more earned. I don't know. Him and Obi-Wan.
Him and Obi-Wan fighting felt more earned?
Him and Obi-Wan, like, they did a couple of flashbacks with him as Anakin.
Like training with Obi-Wan.
Yeah, and then him as Darth Vader. I don't know, just Obi-Wan. I will say, like, Ahsoka is so much better than Obi-Wan, in my opinion.
Yeah.
As a show?
I mean,
as a show.
Oh, as a show?
Or as a story. Like,
as a show, yeah. I mean, Obi-Wan was, the only good part about Obi-Wan is Darth Vader. That's it. That's it. Those are the only good scenes.
I would say that Obi-Wan was probably a movie script that they tried to stretch.
That's exactly what happened. That's exactly what happened.
Because it definitely had a structure.
It was supposed to be a movie originally.
Yeah, it felt that way. Yeah. And it was like, it was a lot of, like, go fetch missions through the course of that. Like,
I don't know why Disney, like, assumes, like, there used to be a whole time, like, during the 90s, where, like, Magical World of Disney, where they made a movie.
Yeah.
So I don't know why in Disney Plus era we decide, like, hey, movies can be, like, 8 episodes long when they don't have to be. Like,
I think it's part of be a TV. Part of it is they sunk so much money to Disney Plus, they have to justify it. That's the problem.
That's the big thing, and justify the budget too.
Exactly.
Of like, why are we giving $25 million? Well, it's going to be 8 episodes.
Exactly.
Versus 2 hours.
Right. So if it wasn't for Disney Plus, we probably got an Ahsoka movie. We would have got an Obi-Wan movie. Those kind of things. They wouldn't have stretched them out the way they did. But they have to justify Disney Plus.
Yeah.
So
and they have people watching.
Exactly. Keep their subscribers on. They lost millions of subscribers when they lost cricket because that was a big thing in India. They lost some like 4 million Indian subscribers because they lost cricket. Yeah. So then that hurt them pretty badly. So that's part of it. It's just they have to trust the time and continue to justify Disney Plus. And they're losing money on it, regardless of what they try. So, and then you watched Hunger Games, Watson?
I did. I watched the prequel, the Ballad of Snakes and Songbirds.
What'd you think? Give us a synopsis. I'm not interested in watching.
Okay.
I've never read any. I have an approximate knowledge of the Hunger Games. Right. I definitely watched all.
It's basically Battle Royale. Yeah.
Yeah.
Hey.
Basically,
everybody. Oh wow, Stan. The Battle Royale is gonna be.
Actually, it was. I pushed my glasses up my nose.
Was the very first story of like people killing people? Like, oh my god. No, I hear that so much, but like I know I watched all the movies, at least of the original books, and my spouse read all the books. I have a very I have a vivid memory. When it was one of our first dating experiences where they were reading, I think, the last book of the original series. And I was reading a Deadpool comic, and they were bawling their eyes out while I was laughing my ass off. And I'm like, I felt so bad. It's like, are you okay? I'm having a great time over here. And they were also like, I'm having a great time. But they're crying their eyes out for the last book. And then the prequel book came out.
Yeah.
And I don't really remember anything.
Did you watch the movies at all?
No, I watched all the movies. Yeah. Mm-hmm.
See, I read the books and saw the movies with my wife, and I had issues with the movies because the books do a great job of explaining how hungry this society is, like how everyone is being starved.
He said it.
No,
and everyone is malnourished. Everyone is like trying to find food, through the course of these the course of these books, and how brutal the games are, right? And you get to the movies, and it's
a teen love story.
It's a teen love story, and they're
well-fed
Hollywood stars,
right? Of course.
Like Katniss in the book is this kind of scrawny, like you wouldn't think she was going to win, right? She only wins because she has these hunting skills that she's been hiding because it's illegal to hunt in that world, in Pan Am, and so in the movie you get Jennifer Lawrence, who does not look malnourished. She's very athletic, and you're just like, really, how hungry are these kids? And like, in the books,
they look a little dirty,
right?
That's how they just, and they live in a log cabin.
Yeah, like at the end of the first book, I believe Peeta loses a leg, and Katniss loses her hearing in one ear at one point. I think it's in the second book, and none of that is seen in the movie, and how brutal those games can be. So I did not read the prequel book. I didn't read the Ballad book. So I was going in this kind of blind. I knew it was about the President Snow character played by Donald Sutherland in the movies,
right,
and his rise to power kind of thing. That's the whole story. And it starts off, I think it's 2 years after the Great War that has destroyed, like the districts rose up against the capital. And so you see a young child version of Snow and his cousin Tigress, like trying to find food, and they're fighting off dogs, and you see people like.
Who I did understand, like, we saw the Tigress in, I want to say like the fourth movie or the third movie, who was kind of like a throwaway character, and then we discover like, she was Snoke's sister.
Yes, exactly. Well, so you meet her as a young child that Snow is like protecting, like, and you see people like they're hiding in the rubble, and you're seeing people go and actually have cleavers and start cutting off legs and arms of the dead, and like she's like, what are they doing? And he's like, they're hungry, so it just shows like this world is a desperate place. Like people are resorting to cannibalism.
And is Snoke in District? I know, like District 1 or 2 or 3?
He's in the capital, so yeah.
So he's in District 1, which is supposed to be like the high-end districts.
But even in this, they do a really good job of showing, like you watch the Hunger Games movies, and everyone's in these ornate, overly colorful outfits, and with the weird beards that Wes Bentley had, and you're like, none of that is in this. Like they're not poor, but it's more of a cement-filled world, just very like not a lot of color. Like everyone's wearing like he wears like a red garb because he goes to school. Like that's it, and like you realize that he's the one who brings this pageantry and everything to the. So the whole thing is like no one's watching the Hunger Games. This is like the 10th year of the Hunger Games, and they're like no one's watching it. People are getting uninterested. Because they're just literally taking people out of the districts, throwing them into a pit, throwing weapons at them.
It's not even a lottery or anything like that? It's just
they
like
are still
random?
they're still doing like the lottery thing.
But it's just like untrained, just people.
Exactly, and there's no pageantry whatsoever. And so Snow gets picked to be a mentor for the girl from District 12 for that year, whose name is, Lisa Gray, I want to say. And
is she Snow White in the?
She's played by Rachel Zegler. Yeah.
Okay.
And her whole thing is that when she gets picked for the Hunger Games, they do the whole ceremony, and she goes up to the front to go on the trek to the Capitol, and she sings to the audience that's there, and like he sees like people reacting, like, oh man, they were really taken by her song, and he knows like if I want her to win this or like get acknowledgement, because he will get a cash prize if he wins this tournament.
Like a stipend.
Yeah, because he's a mentor. It's the first year they're doing the mentorship. And he's like, if I make this a show, if I make it like, if people actually like get invested with her and her story, then we have a chance at winning this thing. So he's the one that goes up and introduces himself to her, and like, is, you know, no one else, none of the other mentors give a shit really about the people that they are in charge of. And he's the one that's like, look, you've got to sing. Like, people will care about you, and then they'll give you donations and stuff like that. And so it's the start of the pageantry of the Hunger Games, you know, and how it becomes more of a show. And he's like, look, if you want people to watch this, like, they have to care about these kids, like, before they're brutalized. You can't just throw them out there. Just, you know, no one's going to want to care about watching kids just murdering each other if they don't give a shit about who's going to win. And so that starts the story of how the Hunger Games kind of evolve to where they are at when Katniss and Peeta and all that get involved.
Interesting.
I feel like, I mean, that's cool and all, but like in a post like Love is Blind bachelor world like that we live in, it's like obviously like you gotta care about the people, right, and they kind of like they do that in the first movie as well, where it's like, oh, you guys have to have a story. So Peeta is like, oh, well, I'm in love with Katniss, and like, and so like the audience needs to like get involved with your guys' storyline,
which has never happened before this one. So that's like, that's where it kind of goes to. It's a long movie. It's a 3-hour long movie.
Oh, wow.
Okay.
And the Hunger Game portion of it.
I was going to say, is that longer than like the first one? Or like
I think so.
I
think the other one was like 2 hours or something.
Yeah. And the Hunger Games portion of the movie is only the first half of the movie. I thought it was going to be like, it was like done with the Hunger Games section. I was like, oh, we're still going? And because it's this whole thing of, you know, by he slowly falling for this girl and doesn't want her to die, so he ends up rigging the game kind of to have her win. You know, like there's a trap where a bunch of snakes get released, and it's in the trailer. There's these rainbow type snakes that are killing everyone, and he finds out that if they know your scent, they won't attack you. So he gets like her tears or something on a handkerchief and puts in the snake pen before they get released, so that they won't attack her basically, and she wins the game.
Like, it's the only animal in history that doesn't attack you if it knows that you're sent.
Right.
Yeah.
They're genetically engineered. You know, what are you gonna do? And so he gets punished for this and ends up being a peacekeeper, which is like the soldiers of that world, and gets sent out of the capital, and he kind of pays his way so that he can end up in her district so he can be with her. So then the whole second half of the movie is this whole love story of like what he will give up to be with her. But then it's like...
So spoilers, does she win the Hunger Games?
Spoilers, yes, she does. She gets out, of there. And like their love story is... So the whole second half is him kind of going like, well, do I need to be in the capital? I love this woman. And she's like this kind of free spirit gypsy who wears very bright, beautiful outfits, which I feel like that's what's gonna like tends to get him to go that way with the capital later on, but you don't know that. But then it's like,
and is she also in District 12? Like,
she is a district. Yes,
Katniss.
Yes,
okay.
She's in District 12, but then she starts to make plans to leave and try to head north, get out of Pan Am, and so it becomes this kind of trust issue of like, well, was she baiting me into falling in love with her so that she could win the game, or is she really in love with me, and like, are we gonna run away, or am I gonna go back to the capital? And so it becomes this whole storyline where, and it's a long part of the movie where it's like the turn of it all, his turn to the dark side, if you will, happens really quickly at the end, where you know, for a 3-hour movie, it kind of feels like it comes out of nowhere, where suddenly he's like setting up his like rise to power kind of thing, and you're like, I feel like this was supposed to be yet again like maybe 3 movies, and they're like, we don't know if we're gonna get 3 movies, so let's just kind of jam it all in the end of this one. So it definitely ends where there could be sequels going forward of like his rise to power, but then it also feels like they kind of justified all that in this, where like he had a bad day and now he's an evil guy. You know what I mean? So it was good. It's a long movie, and it was an interesting one. I think the leads did a great job. Yeah, I thought it was a good.
Would you recommend it?
Yeah,
I would recommend it, but it is, like I said, it's a long 3 hours, and it feels like a 3-hour movie. It doesn't. It's not brisk.
Do you think like if you are a Hunger Games fan, obviously you're gonna watch it.
Yes.
If you're not, like, I don't know, if you've been living under a rock and like you haven't seen any of the other Hunger Game movies, could you still enjoy this movie?
I think you could enjoy it. My problem is like, and here's my problem with a lot of prequels, is you know where the story is going, right? You know where this character is going to end up. It's all about how he gets there, and like if I didn't really need to know why President Snow was a bad guy. You know what I mean? Like watching Donald Sutherland was enough,
right?
You know,
yeah,
like,
exactly.
I don't need to like, well, why was he a tortured soul? And you know, you don't need all that.
Right.
So
I mean, it was a book, so I guess like
and I like that world enough to kind of be like, oh, and this is how they start the Hunger Games, and you know, and all that. Like, I like that part of it, but when it got to the love story and the, you know, his rise to power, I was just, that's the bit I lost interest in. Not because of the actors. I thought they did a great job of showing their relationship grow. But it just got to a point where I was just like, I don't care really.
Yeah.
You know? And I would like to see, like, I really wish he wasn't in District 12. You know, it's like,
yeah, let's show a different
especially
district.
when like
a
whole third of the movie is in District 12. Like, could she be in District 8? Could we see another part
different,
of this world?
yes, exactly.
You know, that rather than the same coal mining town that we've seen,
right?
You know, over and over again. You know, and they even make a little reference, like she's like cutting up a plant, and she's like, "We call this Katniss," and you're like,
"Oh,
all right, we get
eye roll,
you know?
eye roll, yeah,
yeah, exactly." It's a lot of that,
right?
You know, and
I mean, I think that comes into like a lot of like just like our current like media environment, where it's like, I mean, yeah, did we really need this? Like, yeah, there was another book, but did we need this?
Right.
There are so many other like book series, there are so many other stories. I'm sure there's a lot of like scripts in like the Blacklist or whatever that are like new, but at least our WB and Disney and Sony overlords are so obsessed with like, well, we still want to do things that people recognize.
Yeah,
so let's do another.
Exactly. The Remember Berries.
Let's do another Harry Potter. Let's do another Lord of the Rings. Let's do another. And because then you have like Netflix, who are like, I mean, I'm getting into this. Like, I mean, Shadow and Bones, Lockwood are book series that have just been canceled by Netflix after 1 or 2 seasons because they didn't get like Stranger Thing numbers. And it's like,
which is crazy.
There are so many things. There are so many TV series or movies.
Mindhunter was so good on Netflix, man. And just didn't get its second season.
Yeah, there are so many things that like are good, but like, I mean, like
that was Fincher, by the way. That's why it was good.
in the 80s or in the 90s, where like things need to grow. It needs to find its audience, and it becomes a thing. Like, do you think if like, I mean, I'm just gonna throw it out there, like if Supernatural season 1 came out on Netflix today, do you think that's gonna get like
probably get 2 seasons?
Yeah, is that gonna get like 18 seasons after that? Like no. It's like it built an audience and people wanted more of it, and it was terrible, but like it still like got people to get their eyes on the screen.
Yeah, I mean, and then this the budget for that was $100 million for the Hunger Games prequel. It's at currently $112 in the box office. It has to make at least $250 to start to become profitable.
Right.
I don't know if it was going to reach that number.
I don't think. I mean, that's the thing too. It being 3 hours, it's a big investment for a lot of people to go do.
It's a big investment for movie theaters too.
And right. You can't do as many showings.
Almost the same thing. I mean, it's a different spectrum, but like same thing as like the Marvels, where it's like Marvels on one end was so short it could be in so many theaters,
right.
but still wasn't able to get that number of people in the butts in the seats. And now Hunger Games is so much longer,
right?
But they are still counting on people like having the remember berries about Hunger Games and hoping that people come to see it. But it's also not going to get that. It's not going to make those numbers.
No. Yeah, I doubt it. I mean, again, $250 to become profitable. I don't know. I don't know.
It might just go over that.
Yeah,
might just
barely.
I also didn't see any like advertisements. I mean, maybe some bus stops or whatever, but like for Hunger Games, like I once again. Like
the first ones were phenomenal. Like they, they hit $1 billion.
Right.
And I think like Lionsgate made this, and this is like one of their few franchises that they have. So they were like really like, oh no, the book, good. I think they were thinking we can just print money with this.
Right.
But it's not yet again. It's a character that no one really cares about. And no one's like clamoring to see how. And another big thing, his character name is Cornelius Snow, and so every
Cornelius
time,
not even Cornelius.
No, it's it's Cornelius.
Cornelius.
Yeah,
no, it's not.
You can look it up.
It's not.
Look it up.
Cornelius. Shut the fuck up. No,
I'm 10 years old.
So every time they said that in the movie, I was like, oh, that's a terrible character.
No, it's not for real.
Yeah, because in the future, it's that weird Pan Am. Everyone's like pizza is spelled with 2 E's. And
come on, are you serious?
What are you saying? What are you saying?
Coriolanus Snow. Coriolanus. Anus definitely is in there. Come on. Why would you
every time the actor, like someone said his name, I was like, oh. It's not like,
Yeah, no.
You need a name like
I don't
Zach
think it's pronounced
Brannigan
Cornelius, but if we saw, in school, we saw a kid with that name, Coriolanus, he'd definitely be Cornelius.
Right,
he'd definitely be Cornelius. Oh, God.
Yeah, so it doesn't make for a great character name.
I don't know. Like, I guess, the one thing that Star Wars had, like Star Wars, Star Trek, even the Marvel Cinematic Universe has going for it. It's like people want to live in these worlds, or Avatar. People want to live in these worlds.
Right.
Do we really want to revisit the Hunger Games world?
We're all pretty much living in it now.
Exactly. So, like, why are we wanting to revisit this world?
Yeah, I played it myself. I played the Hunger Games in the military. Yeah.
Exactly.
Yeah.
So, like, it was a flashpan. Like, it was a series that we enjoyed as a society, but we can, like, kind of leave it. Like, it came up with a new book, but, like, just, like,
you're right.
Something else.
I remember when this... I already heard about this maybe 2 months ago, and I was like, they're doing another Hunger Games movie? And I thought it was a sequel to the last ones, but then they're like, it's a prequel, and I was like, a prequel? Like, okay. I just wasn't interested. I mean, I saw the movies just because, I really like, what's her name? The main actress. Jennifer Lawrence. I really like Jennifer Lawrence. And I was like, I'll go see it. Yeah, it's cool. It seems, after the first one, I was like, okay, it's an interesting world. I'm going to keep checking it out. But I never read the books. I was never a huge fan of it. And
books are great. I will say the books are really good.
I'm sure. And I've heard good things about them. But I just am not that much of a fan to go see the prequel. I'm just not going to do it. I'm not going to spend $25.
I'm not much of a reader.
Yeah. That'd be interesting, wouldn't it? And so you also watched Next Goal Wins.
So I had a double Fassbender feature. Yeah. I watched Next Goal Wins, which is the Taika Waititi film that just came out.
And you watched Killers as well.
And I watched The Killer. The Netflix movie that Fincher made.
I'm hearing really good things about this Killer thing.
Man, it's so good. It's I love Fincher as a director.
Yeah.
I love Fight Club and Seven, and pretty much everything he's put out has been great.
I love grounded action movies too,
and that's what this is.
Yeah,
and
exactly.
It's based on a French graphic novel, and it's very simple storyline.
Yeah.
You know, he's a contract hitman killer, and he messes up on a hit.
Yeah,
and it's his organization are now trying to get rid of him,
right?
To kind of like as insurance, make sure that everything's all tidied away. And, it's him going after his company and the clients and everything to be like, oh, you're going after me? Well, guess what? I'm coming after you.
Right.
And he, Fassbender is intense, and like it's his point of view, internal monologue through the whole film about his process of keeping it clean and not being empathetic and not here's a heart rate monitor. So when he goes for his shot, like he wants his heartbeat to be at like 60 beats per minute.
Right.
Just very cold through the whole thing. And even though what he's doing it's kind of a revenge story because he gets out of he's doing the hit in Paris and, does the big escape to get away. And goes back home to the Dominican Republic where his home is, sees that there has been a break-in and his girlfriend has been brutalized during the course of this break-in. And so it's a very he's trying, it's going against his own nature because he's trying to be cold and trying to be precise about going after these people, but he can't not help but feel emotion for it.
Right.
Because, and there's a lot of it where you see him like, oh, I can't have empathy. Oh, fuck it. I can't improvise. I have to stay on course, and so, I mean, I watched that movie going, God damn, he should have been James Bond. He should have been James Bond.
That's what everybody's been saying, man. Yeah, that they passed up after watching this movie that I've read a lot that people have said
I
that.
I thought he should have been Bond when he did X-Men First Class. And you see that, the scene with him.
Right.
Going
after the Argentinians,
the Nazis, and all that.
That was the point where I was like, "This guy should be goddamn James Bond."
Yeah, man.
But Craig had to hold on to that mantle for another 10 years, probably longer than he should.
Yeah. Is Craig a British?
He is.
Okay,
yeah,
okay. I was gonna say because no, there hasn't been an American James Bond yet.
No.
I mean, there was. I mean, what's his name was Scottish. Sean Connery, Scottish,
famous Scot.
He's pretty much
famous Egyptian.
Yes.
Scottish.
There hasn't been any non-Scottish or English. James
Ramirez.
Brosnan was Irish. Dalton was Welsh. Roger Moore was from England. Lazenby was Australian.
That's right.
And Fassbender's actually German, by way of he was born in Germany and then moved to Ireland when he was 2.
Yeah.
So he has that weird Irish tilt, but still has a little German to
right.
But also we keep kind of going back to do we need another James Bond movie, or can we do a killer series? Yes. Can we do can he do his own his own trilogy
like a Jason Bourne thing?
So like I said, I like really grounded action movies because I like James Bond movies too, but they were a little over the top sometimes. This is they try to bring it.
Hot take. I love Roger Moore.
No, Roger Moore was
it's stupid fun.
Yeah. Well, they try to bring it back to that the last couple of days. Let's make it a little more believable. He doesn't have a phone in his shoe and that kind of shit.
Casino Royale is probably still the best James Bond.
Oh yeah, absolutely.
Ever made.
I do think the next James Bond, say what you will, or I will bet you $100. I'll say it right here. This is you guys have this proof. The next next James Bond movie has to be they have to do a throwback. They has to take place during the 60s.
I would love to see that.
I don't think it can after Daniel Craig. I don't think we can do a contemporary. James
I agree
Bond.
with that.
Yeah,
I would love. I've been thinking that for a long time. I would love to see a James Bond movie in the '60s made today. Because it would look so good. Because you see '60s movies nowadays, and it looks a little corny.
They tried to do that with the Man from U.N.C.L.E. movie.
But that was still very much a comedy.
Again, a lot of people say Cavill would have made a good.
That's still very much still a comedy, though.
So
that's why I was they're not really taking this as seriously. I want to to see like a serious like movie takes place.
They could totally do like a reboot of a Sean Connery like Dr. No or like
I thought a good retro James Bond type of movie was Atomic Blonde.
Ooh,
you know what I mean?
Which is getting a sequel.
Yes,
really?
Yeah.
Uh-huh. She just announced that, both Charlize Theron and the director have said like, oh no, we're doing a sequel,
great.
which I love.
Such a good movie, dude. It's such a good movie.
I love a good spy movie, man.
Yeah, me too. Again, a good grounded spy movie. Like that's the fight scene in that. She's not really overpowering these guys. She can't, but she's using her body.
Yes, and using them against them.
Using her body a weight against them as best as she can. But every time she takes a blow, it like stuns her. So I love to see that.
I mean, that movie, the trailer, kind of came out and it was kind of like, this is Girl John Wick. And
it's not at all. Mm-hmm. It's not at all. I don't know because they
come out before John Wick, or was that still?
No, it was like right after.
Okay.
So they were trying to kind of ride that wave of the success of John Wick.
Sequences are very brutal,
and there's great action scenes in there, but it's also it's a spy movie. It's just like let's get this list back and who's who and who's on my side and who's not, and it was it's such a good movie. And the twist at the end, how she's working both sides. So would you recommend Killer?
Yes, The Killer, absolutely fantastic movie. Fincher at his best. And
it's on Netflix.
So it's all on Netflix.
I'm definitely checking it out.
So it's a air quote free.
Absolutely. As long as you can steal an account, it's free. And then the other movie I saw was First Goal Wins, which is the other Fassbender movie out right now. It's a very different movie. Taika Waititi directed. It's about the American Samoa national football team,
based on true events.
Based on true events, they are the at that point the world's worst soccer team. They had never they've never won a game, never scored a goal, and still have the record of the worst loss in international sports history, where they lost to Australia 31-0.
I mean, at that point, after 20, you think Australia would just be like, okay, guys, it's just, It's
so this takes place, about 10 years after that loss. They're sick and tired of being the worst team in the world, literally. And so they hire Fassbender as their coach. He's an American, plays an American coach who comes over, and it's a fun, beautiful movie about this give and take between this man and his ideals and this team and the island ideals. They're a very religious island. They're about this is just a game. A lot of them have like multiple jobs, and and he's very strict about the game and the love of it. And he comes in with this, I am God of football. I will teach you. I will show you how. And in the end, he learns something from them. They learn something from him. It's just a fun, loving movie.
Cool.
I haven't seen the movie, but I don't know if you guys have seen the TV series, but it almost sounds like a different version of a Ted Lasso.
Yes.
Pretty much. Yeah,
it does kind of feel that way. But it kind of the reverse Lasso. Where it's the team
the good-hearted. The good-hearted in Ted Lasso, the good-hearted coach coming into like the hardened industrial complex of football.
Yes.
But in next goal
wins
is like, no, it's the good-hearted players softening up the
hardened coach who doesn't understand why aren't you guys taking this seriously? Like this is this should be, you should be. And they're like, we're having fun. And it's like, no, it's not fun. This is serious,
And does it have like the classic Waititi idioms?
Yes, absolutely. Okay. A lot of humor. Of course, he makes a cameo in there.
Oh, okay.
It's a beautiful movie though, and just very lighthearted, easy watch. Easy, and beautifully done. Beautiful, just a good film. Nice.
And that's in theaters still.
It is in theaters. Yes. Currently. Yes.
Okay. Okay.
Killer and Nuck's Goal Wins. You recommend them?
Absolutely, both of them. A++.
All right.
And finally, the Avatar trailer recently dropped. What do you guys think about that? And are you going to go check it out?
I like the Avatar TV series, like the cartoon.
The cartoon's beautiful.
It's one of those things where it's like, I already have the TV. I already have the cartoon. Like, how much? I mean, it's going to look real, but like, it's also a lot of CGI. So like,
it also looks like it's almost shot for shot from the, because I think they learned from the movie that came out with M. Night Shyamalan made. They're like, oh, that one went a little too far different from the cartoon. Like
I mean, to be honest, like,
I know it didn't.
It was just like boring. Like, I mean, they did all the like the beats of the TV series that was the boring parts,
right?
And like, I don't know, like,
it's also trying to make a whole season into one movie, which I think really hurt it.
And also, like, I mean, with Netflix, I have no, I mean, this is gonna be like one season. Avatar: The Last Airbender, the actual cartoon, like went on for like 4 seasons, I think, not including like Legend of Korra.
Yeah, it's like one season per element.
Yeah. So like, I don't know if I want to get invested in like in a series that's gonna probably get like canceled after 1 or 2 seasons, because like Netflix is like, I mean, unless the first season on week 1 gets, once again, Stranger Thing numbers. They are very quick to like, it's dead.
Yeah,
like,
I was worried too with the One Piece show.
Yeah,
for the same reason.
Yeah, seriously.
Because I mean, you're talking about a show that has right now 1,000 episodes. You know, as the anime, it's like, well, you're not going to see that in the live action. How are they going to pull it off? But I really enjoyed that season, and. You know,
and it's getting a second season.
Yes.
So we'll see about that.
Right. And if there's more of that, I'm happy. But I'm also same thing of like, I don't want to get too invested. You know, because the Netflix is notorious for like pulling the plug, even on the shows that do well, because they're like, well, we have 4 seasons on. You can watch at any time. So for them, it doesn't matter if you continue the story.
Yeah.
Also, like, I mean, the series, I mean, don't get me wrong, the trailer looks beautiful. Everybody looks looks their part. I forget the actor who's playing Emperor, the Fire Emperor.
Oh, Izo? No.
I think
that's Uncle Izo, right?
No, it's Uncle Izo, and like, but he's a very famous like actor.
Daniel Kim.
Yes, and like, he looks perfect.
Yeah,
I mean, everything looks perfect, but like at the same time, it's like, it looks perfect, but they're going to do like beat for beat. I mean, it's basically just like I'm going to be honest, I don't really watch a lot of the live action Disney movies,
right? Because
if they're just gonna repeat the cartoon,
right?
I'm sorry, I don't really care that's in live, quote unquote, live action.
I feel the exact same way. It's just like, okay, it's live action, big deal,
right?
You know,
exactly.
Is there anything new in this? There isn't. Okay, and even it looks worse. Like Lion King looked much worse in the cartoon, so I was like, I'm not gonna watch that. You know,
I mean, One Piece had something going for it where it's like, the literal
it felt
anime,
it felt different than the anime,
but also the anime but like our friend Dan can like attest, like it goes on for like 1,000 episodes,
right.
So it's almost like the novelty is like, oh wow, how are they going to condense all of this into that,
which they did with the first season. I believe it's like 50 episodes they condensed to that first season of the live action. But with this, I don't think they're doing any condensing. I think it is, like you said, like it's like episode for episode, beat for beat. Which, if you're going to do something, put your own take. I mean, say what you will about the M. Night Shyamalan, at least he kind of put his own take on it.
Yeah.
You know?
Also, like, I mean, it's been a while, but the original creators of Avatar: The Last Bender, they got pushed out, or they left the project. It was a long time ago. Like, it was like during the early processes of like doing the show. They had to leave because they said, once again, had creative differences, which is like movie speak for like,
it's a euphemism.
They didn't want to do it the way I wanted to do it, so I'm leaving. So like, I don't know. We'll see how it goes. And I guess like it is like, I grew up with the last Avatar TV series, so like maybe this generation of the kids will like, this will be their last Avatar, and maybe it'll be good, maybe it'll be bad,
and then maybe they'll go and watch the animated show based on this.
There you go.
So
and finally, Garfield trailer with
Wow.
and Chris Pratt is voicing the
shocking.
the anthropomorphic. I might fuck that word up. Cat.
What were you trying to say before?
Anthropomorphic cat.
Is he anthropomorphic? Because he's just still a cat. He just walks on
he walks on both and he talks. Yeah. Well, he thinks, I guess.
Okay.
No one actually hears him.
That's true. He does. Yeah. But anyway, Chris Pratt is voicing him. What do you guys think about that? Chris Pratt is doing everything. There was recently that somebody made a video about what if you go back in time? What would you tell your younger self?
That's right.
Chris Pratt's going to be everything.
Yeah, everything you love.
Yeah, everything you love. Yeah. Chris Pratt. Chris Pratt.
Yeah. Jurassic Park. Chris Pratt.
Yeah. Super Nintendo. Chris Pratt.
So funny.
What do you guys think? And are you going to go watch it?
No.
I'm going okay too.
I don't think it's made for me. I think it's definitely made for like the kids.
Yeah, it's a family.
Yeah, it's a family. It's like I don't know.
Here's what ticked me off about it. Mm-hmm. First thing you see him, like he's eating with John in the trailer. He goes and eats.
He's a kid.
He's a kid because of course they got to push.
He's
version.
He's a baby Yoda.
Yeah, exactly. You got to push the cute version out.
Of course you do.
He's not eating lasagna? Really? You're going to have him eat pizza be the first thing? You're not going to have lasagna be the first thing?
He's not eating lasagna? He's eating pizza?
Well, he eats a pizza, but I'm sure and
then they show
as we go more into the trailer, I'm sure he's in an Italian restaurant, so there's probably some lasagna.
Should have been the opening gag should have been there was lasagna.
Mm-hmm. And it's a Monday.
Yeah. Oh boy.
Yeah.
But funny enough, I did rewatch. So my kid's been sick. And we're at home the other day, and we're flipping through channels, and he's like, "Ooh, let's watch that." And it was the original Garfield movie.
I was just about to say, didn't they do one just a couple years ago?
Was the
with
Bill Murray.
Bill Murray,
that's right. Yeah.
So we watched that. Mm-hmm. It's not great, but I
don't remember it.
Bill Murray is like a perfect Garfield voice. Unfortunately, he's so good in it.
Which is I'm aging myself. It's an interesting full circle because Bill Murray, who was Venkman, in Ghostbusters, was then voiced by
Lorenzo Music.
Yeah, in the cartoon, in the real Ghostbusters cartoon series. Who also voiced Garfield in the Garfield cartoon.
Hilarious.
Mm-hmm.
And then, once again, Bill Murray then voiced Garfield.
Yeah.
So,
It's come full circle.
Yeah. Bill Murray's still around? He's still active? You could have him do this Garfield cartoon.
Why not?
I guess, I don't know. We're a couple old guys. I don't know.
Yeah.
So, it's not for us. But also, Garfield in this doesn't seem very, I don't know. He still seems very active. He's eating lasagna, but he's not lazy. I don't know.
He's just doing Chris Pratt voice
too.
Yeah, it's just
he's not doing he's not putting on any voice. He's not doing. It's the laziest thing.
Lorenzo Music was the best voice for him too in the cartoon.
And then his dad is Samuel Jackson, I think, or Garfield's dad. Is being voiced by Samuel Jackson.
The cat.
Yeah, the cat.
Oh,
okay.
Interesting. Yeah, well, good luck to them.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, good luck to them.
It's whatever. Did you guys talk about the Ghostbusters?
Oh no,
trailer?
We didn't do that.
No. Yeah, I mean that was amazing.
After Ice, I would say
Frozen
Afterlife,
Empire.
but then okay, I was good.
Frozen
Ice
Empire
is a good
After looks great. Bill Murray. So speaking of Bill Murray, he's in that.
Yeah,
he's in
I'm excited
a
to see it.
frame of that.
We'll see how long he's in that movie.
Yeah. I think I'm feeling like the OG Ghostbusters are more of a cameo.
Yeah, exactly.
Or maybe a little bit of... I feel like they're probably going to get frozen at the beginning of the movie, and that's why the kids have to kind of step up.
Yeah.
Because the finale, or what it looks like to be the finale, is them all wearing the Parker jackets and stuff, and you just see the kids. So I feel like...
And Paul Rudd,
yes,
cool.
Yeah, because Paul Rudd is us.
Yeah.
Yet again, he's just he's psyched to be a Ghostbuster.
Mm-hmm.
But yeah, no, I'm I'm all on board. I have my proton pack. I wore that for
my Halloween party.
For Halloween.
Yeah.
Mm-hmm. And I know a bunch of people were online when as soon as they saw that trailer went looking for those jackets, the red coats.
Mm-hmm.
They're $1,700 jackets that they have in the. But people are sourced it was so funny. The trailer dropped. And it was like 2 hours later, people sourced like, okay, it's this jacket. We got to find it. It's crazy.
That's awesome.
Yeah.
That's great.
And it's funny because this movie they're saying like was based off more of the animated series of Ghostbusters,
supposedly, yeah.
Which tangent I will say, like, I mean, I know people hate, I mean, the all-female Ghostbusters movie, as much hate as it gets, I felt like when I first watched it, like, oh, this feels like the cartoon. Like,
yeah, I agree with that.
I felt like it was more of an adaptation of the cartoon of the real Ghostbusters, and maybe people like were upset by that. And so now they're doing the cartoon version in this sequel. And just because it has the original Bill Murray and like all those guys,
From what I saw,
it's more acceptable.
Harold Ramis has a story credit on this movie.
Okay.
So I think this is something that he probably helped write before he passed.
That's awesome.
So I mean, that kind of keeps the OG factor of it.
That's great.
Keep it in the family kind of thing.
I love that. All right, well, great. Great episode, guys. Sam, thank you so much for joining us. Really appreciate it. Welcome back anytime.
You're perfectly welcome. Yeah. Like, I know I'm a very a sad substitute for Chad, but I'm perfectly happy to be here.
Yeah, we'll definitely have you back when Chad's back.
Absolutely. And thanks again for everybody for listening. And
I just want to say happy Thanksgiving to everyone else.
Yes, we're recording this on the day before Thanksgiving, so I hope everybody is nice and cozy.
I want to thank you guys for being here. I want to thank you, Stan, for having us over every time.
Of course.
Stan's house. And
if it's okay for me to ask, like, everybody, like, what Stan, Watson, what are you guys thankful for this year?
Sure.
Like, are you thankful for anything in particular?
Go ahead, Watson.
I'm thankful for my family, for my friends. I'm thankful to have made it seeing Michael Keaton dressed up as Batman one more time. Never thought that was going to happen. So that's
at least we got that
off my bucket list. That's it. So thank you.
Thanks, Sam. I'm thankful for my family. I'm thankful for my friends. That includes you guys. The Bros are an amazing group of guys that I'm glad I got involved with. I'm thankful for my girlfriend, Julie. I'm thankful that we started this podcast, that we were able to get this equipment together, and we're putting it out there. There've been some pretty good things in my life in terms of like my writing that has gone pretty well this year.
I mean,
so it's I have 3. I hope so, man. One of my screenplays is in an options phase right now with a studio. Hopefully, knock on wood, it gets made. Thank you. It gets greenlit. I feel like such a douchebag saying like the industry terms. Hopefully it gets green. I have an options phase, and hopefully I have a feature in an options phase, and I hope it gets green.
Trying to get to a douchebag.
Oh no! My hair gets this slick back. And then
I remember when Stan was actually was one of us. Like
he was cool, man.
Yeah.
What happened?
I made an audiobook for my novel, voiced by our friend Matt Zunick, who was on the podcast. And I'm putting that together right now. Hopefully, I'll let you guys know what's on YouTube.
Year.
Thanks, man.
And more big things to come.
Big things to come. We will be at Nerdom will be at Pasadena Comic Con on the 28th of January from 9 a.m. to 4. So check us out. We'll have a raffle. We'll be giving some stuff away. A lot of cool little giveaways as well. Come check us out.
Official.
Yeah, exactly.
And if I may say, like, I'm the worst nerd whatsoever. Whatever you ask.
No.
I'm just happy. I'm thankful that the things that I was so happy to see as a kid are still relevant. There is a new Toxic Avenger movie coming out with Peter Dinklage. Okay. Well, you guys will talk about it later.
I'll talk about it.
Please talk about it on the podcast.
Please bring me back on Toxic Avenger. I love.
Cool.
We were Toxic Crusaders guy.
I'm Toxic Crusader. That's gonna be
man.
That's my next tattoo. I want on my other arm. I'm going to be asking my family for Toxic Crusaders from I forget which company, but they have
Super 7, I think.
Super 7. I want a Toxic Crusaders action figure.
I saw that and I was like, dude, I don't have room for it, but I want
Street Sharks is going to have another action figure series that's coming out. Yeah, and I'm excited about that. Ninja Turtles are still relevant. Spider-Man's still relevant.
Yeah.
There's still a lot of things that are still relevant, and I'm thankful for that. Like, as much as like the overlords are medium overlords are demonizing it, I'm still kind of like, I'm happy about it. Mm-hmm. And you know, God bless us, everyone.
Amen.
All right.
Have a good one, guys.
No.
All right.